What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7WR, 111, Team 7 is completely defeated, Yagyu Tsuki appears. After Uchiha Sasuke was smashed to the ground, severe pain spread throughout his body. Several bones in his back broke with a creaking sound. The pain directly shook his brain. Cough cough cough. Uchiha Sasuke coughed violently several times, spit out a large mouthful of scarlet blood, stared at Uchiha Itachi angrily with 3 Tomo Sharingan, grabbed Uchiha Itachi's wrist tightly, and roared hysterically. Uchiha Itachi. I will definitely kill you. The gap is so big. I only want revenge, and now I have become stronger. But why? Why is there such a big gap? Damn it, power. In order to fulfill my ambition of revenge, I must get stronger power. Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura were stunned. It was the first time they saw that Sasuke, who was always calm and composed, would show such an angry state. In the past, Mr. Yagyu said that Uchiha Itachi 03 was a traitor who killed his entire clan with his own hands. He was the top Super S-class traitor in the ninja world. And Sasuke's enemy is Uchiha Itachi, right? I don't care whose brother you are, or what organization you belong to, as long as you dare to hurt my friends, I will definitely kill you. After seeing Sasuke being beaten up, Uzumaki Naruto's head became a little hot because of anger, and the anger swept through his brain like a hurricane. Didn't you hear me? I told you to let Sasuke go? Uzumaki Naruto fell to the ground like a beast. His eyes gradually turned light gold, his whole body exuded a terrifying murderous aura, and scarlet chakra emerged from his abdomen, which eventually turned into a demon fox coat. Two-Tail state. He hated Sasuke because Sasuke was arrogant and always showed off in front of him, but Sasuke was his most important friend and an important member of Team 7. And seeing Sasuke being beaten so badly, how could he just sit there and wait for death? How could he not be angry? According to the intelligence, you used the tailed beast chakra unconsciously that time in the land of waves, but no matter how you look at it, you condensed the chakra on your own this time, right? Hoshigaki Kisame jumped up instantly and hit Uzumaki Naruto's abdomen with the stick-like broadsword Samahata. Ong. The moment Samahata hit Uzumaki Naruto's abdomen, the demon fox coat formed by chakra disappeared out of thin air, and all the chakra condensed on the surface of the skin was absorbed by the broadsword Samahata. Bang! After the 9 tails chakra was absorbed, Uzumaki Naruto was smashed and flew out, rolling awkwardly on the ground for several circles, and then fell heavily into the pool, spitting out a large mouthful of scarlet blood, gradually dyeing the pool scarlet. Who? Yagyu you. In an instant, it is important to have a good teacher. Team 7 has become stronger, but below cage level, they are like ants. With the strength of these brats in Team 7, let alone defeating strong shadows like Kisame and Itachi. This guy can actually block my strange power of concentrating all my chakra and using all my strength to attack. Hoshigaki Kisame looked down at Uzumaki Naruto, and seeing Naruto trying to get up again, he said in admiration, for your age, your growth rate is quite fast. It would be troublesome to let you continue to grow, right? After all, you have a very good teacher. 9 Tails is the strongest tailed beast. If Jinchuriki completely masters the power of 9 Tails in the future, it will be very troublesome for Akatsuki to capture them. Yagyu Sensei. If Yagyu Sensei was here, what the hell do you want to do? You be ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** eyes. He clenched his white fists tightly, and his petite body suddenly jumped up and punched Uchiha Itachi in the face. So strong. Akatsuki organization. So scary. If you have time to worry about others, you should worry about yourself first, in case you run around like a ghost. I want to break your hands and feet. Hoshigaki Kisame raised the big sword Samahata high and smashed it hard at Uzumaki Naruto's legs. Bang! Haruno Sakura was knocked far away, hit the tree trunk heavily, and several ribs were broken. He spit out a large mouthful of blood and stared at the distance in disbelief. Kisame. In the land of waves, did Yagyu-sensei fight such strong enemies, and even easily defeat such strong enemies? After being pressed by Samahata, Uzumaki Naruto felt a sense of relaxation and weakness all over his body. He stared at Uchiha Itachi in the distance angrily and roared. "You be ***************, D. Let Sasuke go quickly. They can't even defeat Hidan. The enemy has not caught Uzumaki Naruto yet, but Sasuke has been caught by the enemy, so Uchiha Itachi should be attacked first. Soon I can upgrade from silver to gold. As the saying goes, heroes are always one step late. How many points can you give me for my timely appearance?" Yagyu put his hands in his pockets, sipped the lollipop in his mouth, and glanced at the embarrassing battle situation lightly. Alas! Teacher Yagyu. The despair of the people in Team 7 disappeared, and the three looked at the calm Yagyu in shock. A moment later. The overall strength of all members of Team 7 is much stronger than the information brought back by Konan. It should be taught by that guy Yagyu Tsuki, right? When will these tools help me get the longevity reward? What a heavy blow. Hoshigaki Kisame appeared in front of Itachi in an instant, blocked Haruno Sakura's fist with his big sword Samahata, and then kicked Haruno Sakura away casually. Mr. Itachi, you can just take care of your housework, I have successfully captured 9 tails. The 7th team was defeated and had no power to fight back in front of the enemy. At this most critical moment, the back of Yagyu appeared in her mind. She could only think of Yagyu to solve the crisis. Uzumaki Naruto climbed up with difficulty and raised a thumb. The ninja forced a smile with pain and said, "Full marks." Haruno Sakura covered her abdomen, knelt on the ground in embarrassment, and cried to the sky, "Teacher Yagyu." 623. Bang! Hoshigaki Kisame was kicked out and flew a long distance like a cannonball. He suddenly inserted the big knife Samahata into the ground, and the knife left a long mark on the ground. Then he could sway and stabilize his body. Our Team 7, how could we defeat such an outrageous enemy? Although Team 7 was badly beaten, it was a good thing strictly speaking, because I just got 20 points, and I still need 10 points of growth points to upgrade. When you can fully master the power of 9 tails, even I will feel troubled, but for now, just follow me obediently. Hoshigaki Kisame walked towards Uzumaki Naruto, pressed Naruto's abdomen with the big sword Samahata, and then looked back at Uchiha Itachi. They are still too weak. 112, Sasuke is crying. Reinforcements have arrived. Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Uzumaki Naruto calmly, smiled and said, "Full marks? I think so too, but you scored 0 this time, wait for me to teach you a lesson. If you have to say it." Nine-Tails Brad didn't perform this time, his head was completely eroded by anger, and he was killed instantly after bursting Nine-Tails' chakra, and even had a wave of chakra absorbed by the enemy. In other words, he got angry and then gave up. Uzumaki Naruto's smile was stiff. "Anyway, stretch your muscles a little, and I'll clean up this battle." Yagyu Tsuki crossed his hands and stretched his waist, stretching his muscles briefly as if he had just woken up. "Mr. Itachi, be careful, this guy is going to attack." Hoshigaki Kisame put away his smile and stared at Yagyu Tsuki with shark-like eyes. As soon as the voice fell, Yagyu Tsuki disappeared out of thin air. "Can you please stop bullying my tool? Be careful or I'll ask you for medical expenses." Yagyu Tsuki appeared behind Uchiha Itachi, with his hands in his pockets and his legs twisted towards Itachi's head. Letting the enemy attack Team 7 can not only put pressure on Team 7, but also make Team 7 understand their own strengths and weaknesses, and at the same time create an atmosphere of rescue for themselves. It's cool. That's how to show off. Only by pinching the time and showing up to save the situation at the critical moment is the most meaningful trick of showing off. Such a fast instant. Uchiha Itachi's Scarlet Mangekyo condensed. With his dynamic vision of Mangekyo Sharingan, he could only see a shadow of Yagyu Tsuki. He raised his hand to block his head in an instant. Bang! Yagyu Tsuki swept his leg heavily, knocking Uchiha Itachi back a long distance. Uchiha Itachi's foot left a long mark on the ground before he stabilized his body. It seems to be stronger. After Uchiha Itachi stabilized himself, he felt his arms numb from the shock and took a deep look at Yagyu Tsuki in the distance. Although there may be some errors in the information, the speed Yagyu Tsuki just showed was obviously stronger than the information brought back by Konan. In other words, Yagyu Tsuki's current strength is probably much stronger than that of the Wave Country. It is also possible that Yagyu Tsuki did not use all his strength in the Wave Country. Yagyu Tsuki's speed of teleportation just now is probably comparable to that of Raikage, and may even be close to that of Uchiha Shisui at that time. Stronger? Have you seen my full strength? The attack just now was just a greeting, a very casual attack. There is no need to exaggerate it so much. Yagyu Tsuki put his hands in his hands and looked at Uchiha Itachi in the distance with indifference and pride. His kick just now was just a casual attack, but why did Uchiha Itachi say that he became stronger? And Uchiha beasts have never seen a full strength attack from me, right? Really? Uchiha Itachi reacted indifferently, sighing in his heart. Mr. Yagyu hasn't changed, he still likes to communicate with his enemies. Uchiha Sasuke sat up, grabbed the corner of Yagyu Tsuki's clothes, gritted his teeth and made a hoarse voice, "Teacher Yagyu." Uchiha Sasuke's eyes were slightly red, tears slowly rolled down from the corners of his eyes, and he covered his eyes with his arms in panic. He cried. It was the first time he wanted to cry since the Uchiha clan was exterminated. Why? Obviously he tried so hard, obviously he had given up everything, and obviously only wanted revenge. But why? Why did he still lose to Uchiha Itachi? Even in front of Uchiha Itachi, he was no different from when his clan was exterminated, so helpless and powerless to resist. At this moment, it was just like that moment, nothing has changed. Anger, despair, helplessness, grief, unwillingness, regret, a series of emotions caused Sasuke's mentality to collapse, and he, who was always arrogant, shed weak tears. Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura were stunned. It was the first time they saw Sasuke like this. In their eyes, Sasuke had always been an arrogant genius, but this arrogant genius actually cried. Yagyu Tsuki touched Sasuke's head and said with a faint smile, "Cry if you want to cry. I'm laughing at you." What a strange development. It should be the girl crying there, and then he should be the hero saving the beauty, right? But why is it that the one crying is Uchiha, the stinky man? Uchiha Sasuke's mouth twitched. Listen, no one will always succeed. This failure is for the next victory, and the next failure is for the next victory. Yagyu said, sighing secretly in his heart. Sugar and whip should be used together. Give the tool man some chicken soup. People who cry because of failure are useless. Wait until you win and cry again. Tears called joy will surely make you cry happily at that time, right? Are you desperate and helpless? Then become stronger? It's so troublesome to educate the brat. Is Tsunade pregnant with a boy or a girl? It's fine if it's a girl. After all, who would hate to have a cute daughter? Yes. Uchiha Sasuke took a long breath and adjusted his messy and collapsed state. Are you done? Let's do it. I've long wanted to meet the legendary ninja. Hoshigaki Kisame pointed the big sword Samahata at Yagyu Tsuki. Samahata trembled violently as if excited, and the bandage wrapped around the surface of the sword slowly fell off, revealing a strange pufferfish-shaped blade like a living creature. Is it okay to be killed in seconds? Yagyu Tsuki asked. Arrogant. Hoshigaki Kisame stabbed Samahata into the ground, clasped his hands together, and burst out chakra comparable to Shukaku at that time. Water style. Just when Hoshigaki Kisame was about to make a move. Fire style ash burning. Sarutobi Asuma appeared behind Kisame, spewing out a large cloud of smoke like dust from his mouth, and the dust rolled and covered Kisame and Itachi. Boom boom. Sarutobi Asuma bit off the dust, and the dust was ignited by the flames and ignited a raging fire. The sea of fire like a wave engulfed Kisame and Itachi. A ninja from Konoha? You are really smart. Hoshigaki Kisame and Itachi jumped back calmly at the moment they were engulfed by the sea of fire. Rakery, a pale blue electric current flashed by, and Hitaki Kakashi held the sharp lightning in his hand and attacked Hoshigaki Kisame's heart seedling fiercely. At the same time, Leaf Great Whirlwind, Might Guy kicked Kisame's head in the air. The two of them seemed to be planning to take this opportunity to deal with the ghost who was a member of the Akatsuki organization in one go, and then deal with the most troublesome ninja, Uchiha Itachi. I was really underestimated. Hoshigaki Kisame clasped his hands together and spit out a large wave-like current from his mouth, water-style exploding water waves. 113. A world where only Uzumaki Naruto is hurt. Boom boom. The ocean current surged in all directions like a huge wave. Hundreds of tons of waves roared and destroyed all the buildings in the park. The surging torrent swallowed the entire park. Might Guy and others were blown far away by the huge waves. So strong water style. Haruno Sakura endured the pain and raised her face with difficulty to look at the tsunami-like waves. There was a trace of shock in her eyes. It was the first time she saw such a terrible water style. Stupid, don't be stunned. The heroic accusation sounded. Tsunade landed behind Haruno Sakura, then picked up Haruno Sakura and jumped back suddenly, landing on a tall stone building. Hey, isn't it dangerous? Uzumaki Naruto looked at the approaching waves, widened his eyes and shouted in panic, Teacher Unagi Yagyu, help me, Master's wife, save me too. Because his chakra had just been absorbed and his abdomen was severely injured, he couldn't move freely in a short time and could only watch the huge waves approach. In an instant, Master's wife, Naruto's side, Haruno Sakura suddenly turned his head and looked into the distance, watching Uzumaki Naruto being swallowed by the huge waves. With the physical fitness of a ninja, being swallowed by the current is nothing, but you have to know that the tsunami used by Kisame contains a very terrible chakra. This chakra makes the tsunami extremely heavy. With the current comprehensive strength of Team 7, they will be crushed into meat paste the moment they are swallowed by the tsunami. There's no need to be so grand, I hate the feeling of getting wet. Yagyu looked at the approaching waves calmly, slowly pulled out his hand from his pocket, and a dark strange substance emerged from his fingertips, which contained amazing chakra. Gurgle, gur. Uchiha Itachi was the same. After landing on the surface of the current, he looked at Yagyu with a little surprise. At the moment when Yagyu used his ability, he felt a strange chakra, which was similar to the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Pain. In front of my eyes, any tricks are meaningless. This is the power of Uchiha. Uchiha Itachi's eyes condensed, and the vines wrapped around his body disappeared in an instant. Those vines wrapped around Kurenai instead. Come to think of it, with Teacher Yagyu present, what do we have to fear? Huh. Yuhi Kurenai raised her head, her fair and delicate face showed a solemn expression, looking at Kisame and Itachi in the distance, and said in a deep voice, be careful, these two people are very strong. You should be careful. Yagyu Tsuki's mouth twitched slightly, I can fight with you too. Yuhi Kurenai pouted slightly, glanced at Tsunade next to her, and slightly tightened her hand holding Yagyu Tsuki's clothes. Tsunade is very strong and beautiful, and can even fight with Yagyu Tsuki, which makes her feel a sense of crisis. It's not necessary, just do what you can. Yagyu Tsuki can probably guess what Yuhi Kurenai is thinking, gently pinching Yuhi Kurenai's face, and whispering in her ear, you are also very important in my eyes, and it has always been like this. Sister Honghong should be jealous. Very good. Jealousy is a good sign, it's better to be jealous more. In his eyes, Yuhi Kurenai is a very special person because when he first came to this world, the first person he met was Yuhi Kurenai, and Yuhi Kurenai has always taken good care of him. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand and said casually, "Is he still alive? If he's alive, why should I save him? A child who depends on adults will become useless." Tsunade stroked her belly and made up her mind secretly. Uchiha Itachi raised his leg to Kurenai's abdomen and Kurenai, who was kicked away, fell to Yagyu Tsuki. "Wait a minute. I haven't thought of a name yet, anyway. Let's define it as repulsion. It's also very important. Sorry, Miss Kurenai. After the child is born, the dead white hair should be kept away from education. If the dead white hair is allowed to educate the child, I'm afraid the child will become autistic in a few days." It's decided. Countercurrent. The technique used by this guy is very similar to the leader's ability. Hoshigaki Kisame looked at the huge wave hitting him against the current, and a trace of astonishment flashed in his eyes. Then he jumped and landed on the surface of the huge wave, and the chakra condensed under his feet stood steadily on the current. Magic tree binding kill. Kurenai made a seal with one hand and held a kunai with the other. After the move was launched, Kisame and Itachi lost consciousness. A living tree appeared behind them, and Kisame and Itachi were entangled by vines. "What did you suddenly say?" Yuhi Kurenai's face flushed, and she pushed away Lu Shungyue in panic. As soon as the voice fell, Tsunade looked grim. No one in the audience was affected by the huge wave, but only one person was swallowed by the huge wave. The basic abilities of Rinnegan and Tenseigan are very similar, but Tenseigan is better in gravity manipulation. Rinnegan can pull meteorites to the ground in one breath, and Tenseigan can even pull the moon, ADCB, to destroy the surface. "Sister Hong, what are you doing?" Yagyu Tsuki caught Kurenai, tapped her neck with her fingertips, and untied the illusion rebound in Kurenai. Besides, with 9 tails around, how could Naruto be killed by a mere huge wave? The breath of Rinnegan. "Who are you?" "It's okay, he is here." Tsunade was about to refute the title of Master's wife, but then she thought that there was a dead white-haired child in her belly, and it seemed that there was nothing wrong with being called Master's wife. "What you just used is..." Hoshigaki Kisame hadn't finished speaking when Kurenai appeared behind him silently. "If his life is not in danger, there is no need to save the tool. If you save the tool every time, how can the tool become stronger and grow?" He had just told Haruno Sakura that there was no need to worry about Naruto's safety because Yagyu Tsuki was there, but Yagyu Tsuki ignored Naruto at all. Tsunade frowned slightly and accused, "You just talk nonsense all day long." Ong. The entire wave that roared like a beast paused, and then the huge wave hit Kisame, Itachi and others against the current. The move used by Yagyu Yu is similar to Shinra Tensei, both are absolute defenses that rebound through pressure. Also, Teacher Yagyu. Haruno Sakura breathed a sigh of relief. Open black lens bracket 114 close black lens bracket Kisame. "I'll take care of you in 3 rounds. Yagyu, don't look Uchiha Itachi in the eye. I have Sharingan and can barely fight him. Those without Sharingan will probably be in a tough fight." Hitaki Kakashi opened only one Sharingan and landed beside Yagyu Tsuki, using Sharingan to vigilantly stare at Kisame and Itachi in the distance. The ninja next to Uchiha Itachi is also very strong. He is Hoshigaki Kisame, a super S-class rebel ninja from the Mist Village, and one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. After only this round of fighting, he had completely understood that the enemy was very strong, and even the enemy's strength far exceeded that of the 3rd Hokage in his lifetime. Although he didn't know Kisame's background, Uchiha Itachi was his subordinate when he was in Anbu, and he knew the details of Uchiha Itachi's eyes. Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi. Whether it is Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi, they are all powers beyond the scope of ninjas, and they can even be killed instantly when they first see each other. Then, Might Guy and others landed beside Yagyu Tsuki. "Don't worry, I will teach you a very powerful technique now. It is a technique I practiced hard to defeat Kakashi. When fighting against someone with Sharingan, try to look at his face as much as possible." Might Guy smiled brightly before he finished speaking. "Don't get in the way, go play on the side, and just watch my performance quietly." Lu Shungyue picked up Might Guy, and threw him back with force, and then threw him. Might Guy was confused and was thrown into the crowd by Lu Shungyue. "You also go play on the side." Lu Shungyue picked up Kakashi and threw him next to Might Guy. Lu Shungyue looked at Asuma indifferently, and just about to raise his hand to grab Asuma. "I'll jump by myself." Sarutobi Asuma didn't say much, and directly jumped back and landed next to Might Guy and others. It was better to retreat wisely than to be thrown out roughly. "Very self-aware." Lu Shungyue muttered. "Sister Hong, take good care of Tsunade." Lu Shungyue picked up Yuhi Hong and walked towards Tsunade, then put Yuhi Hong next to Tsunade. With Tsunade's hot temper, I'm afraid she will take action. It was nothing before, and I could even pretend to be cool after Tsunade ate, but now Tsunade is a precious pregnant woman. What if Tsunade is reckless and kills the child? Tsunade looked at Lu Shungyue's worried expression and could vaguely guess what Lu Shungyue was thinking. She said with dissatisfaction, "I know the limit. The dead white-haired man really thinks I am the kind of woman who only knows how to lose temper." "Take care of Tsunade-sama." Yuhi Hong was puzzled. Tsunade is a powerful one among the legendary Sannin. Is there anything that needs to be taken care of by a little special Jōnin like me? Liu Shang should want me to stay away from the battlefield. The group will say this on purpose, right? Or is Tsunade-sama injured? How is it possible? Tsunade-sama is the strongest medical ninja. Yagyu Tsuki didn't say much, because it would be troublesome to explain now, and he would tell Sister Honghong later. He turned around and slowly walked towards Kisame and Itachi in the distance. Yui Kurenai hesitated and asked, Tsunade, Hokage-sama, are you okay? Just ask it for the time being. After all, Tsunade is the 5th Hokage. You know? Tsunade felt guilty and looked away in a panic. She didn't dare to look at Yui Kurenai. She always felt like she had stolen something from someone else. Because Yui Kurenai and Yagyu Tsuki were childhood sweethearts, they must have some feelings for each other, and she could also see that Yui Kurenai liked Yagyu Tsuki. But she had it. Yui Kurenai tilted her head and asked in a daze, what? Nothing. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief. Yui Kurenai looked at Tsunade strangely. Although she felt that Tsunade's state was very strange, she was also very tactful and didn't continue to ask. At this time, on the other side. Sorry, I've been waiting for so long. The people who are in the way have become spectators. Let's continue. Yagyu Tsuki put his hands in his pockets, looked at Kisame and Itachi indifferently, and said proudly, who will go first? It's okay for 2 people to go together. According to the plan, you are responsible for delaying Yagyu Tsuki, and I will use Sharingan to capture 9 tails. Uchiha Itachi slowly unbuttoned the clothes of the red cloud coat, and used the Scarlet 3 Tomo Sharingan, indifferently looking at Uzumaki Naruto who was fainting in the distance. 0. Please give me flowers. The ability that Mr. Yagyu just used has a similar feeling to Pain's Rinnegan, but Mr. Yagyu does not have the legendary Rinnegan. It should be a bloodline limit or something like that, right? But Mr. Yagyu's bloodline limit is wood style, and the move just now obviously does not belong to wood style. This is a bit strange. B. If this is all Mr. Yagyu's strength, he will definitely lose to Hoshigaki Kisame in a few rounds, and Hoshigaki Kisame has a unique ability, which is almost the deadly nemesis of all ninjas. The best situation at present is that Mr. Yagyu leads all the ninjas present to attack Hoshigaki Kisame at the same time, and then he can take advantage of the chaos to go to Danzo. But Mr. Yagyu did not intend to attack, but to fight me and Kisame alone. Mr. Yagyu, who is smart, must have some plan for doing this, right? Anyway, let's take a look first. Hold. Mr. Itachi, you are too modest. Hoshigaki Kisame unbuttoned his red cloud coat, threw the heavy coat back, revealing his strong body like a shark, and looked at Yagyu Tsuki in front of him with great interest. How many rounds can the legendary Yagyu Tsuki last in my hands? It's really exciting. Watch me completely kill him within 3 rounds. Hoshigaki Kisame held the big knife Samahata in his hand, jumped up suddenly at an extremely fast speed, raised his living like shin muscles high, and smashed Yagyu Tsuki's head fiercely. What a fast speed, Mr. Yagyu, be careful. Everyone in the 7th team trembled in their hearts. They couldn't see Kisame's moving speed at all. The only ninjas who could see Kisame's moving speed were Tsunade and Might Guy, who were powerful ninjas. 3 rounds. Then I'll satisfy you once. I'll give you 3 rounds of opportunities. During this period, you can attack at will, after 3 rounds. I will kill you in seconds. Yagaseki looked at the big knife that was close at hand, and he slowly raised a finger to catch the falling big knife. Open black lens bracket 115 close black lens bracket after all. You are very weak. The violent collision caused a violent vibration, and the ground around Yagyu Tsuki cracked inch by inch, which showed how heavy Kisame's sword was, but the fingers he used to catch the sword did not tremble. Yagyu teacher can catch the enemy's terrible attack with just 1 finger? God. God, it's outrageous. Haruno Sakura stared at the distance in a daze, watching Yagyu Tsuki catch Samahata with his fingers, and her fair face gradually became confused. She knew very well how strong Kisame was, because she had just been knocked away by Kisame, and the pure power of Kisame's flesh had exceeded the strange power she was currently using. Her full strength attack was easily blocked by Kisame, and then Kisame casually swept a sword, which could put her life on the verge of death. But it was this 033, terrifying Kisame, who seemed to swing a sword very hard, but was caught by Yagyu teacher with 1 finger. What an outrageous scene. It's so terrifying. Hiss, Haruno Sakura took a breath, with shock in her eyes. Such a strong strength, is this the power of the strong? Uchiha Sasuke was in a heavy mood. Team 7 was completely defeated by the enemy, but Mr. Yagyu could easily deal with the enemy. The gap is so big, I must become stronger and gain enough power for revenge. It's enough to cry once. Uchiha Itachi, wait for me. Should I? Your teacher Yagyu can catch the attack with 1 finger naturally after condensing the earth attribute chakra in the finger in an instant. What's the big deal? Tsunade looked at Haruno Sakura strangely. These kids seem to have never seen the world. Shidai seemed to catch the attack calmly, but in fact, he compressed the huge earth attribute, nature transformation chakra in the fingertips in an instant, which led to an extremely hard defense state. It was very similar to the earth-style hardening that Kakuzu used at that time. Even if Shidai didn't catch Samahata with his fingers, he could still defend without injury with the ascending attribute chakra. Shidai deliberately used his fingers to catch the attack. The purpose should be to show off in front of others. Even if he didn't use the earth attribute chakra, he could easily do it by compressing all the chakra in the fingertips. Is nature transformation important? Haruno Sakura was puzzled. She had heard Yagyu Tsuki mention nature transformation many times, and she only knew that it was a power that was difficult to master. But nature transformation is very important. Is transformation really an important power for ninjas? Idiot, power is power. How can there be power without any meaning? Uchiha Sasuke sneered. $*$$$ Tsunade slapped Sasuke with a backhand, then ignored Sasuke and looked at Haruno Sakura, saying, "It is very important. If you want to become a strong person, you must master nature transformation. Ninjas with chakra nature transformation and ninjas without chakra nature transformation are two different levels." What's wrong with Sasuke? Crazy. Deranged. He talks about power all the time. Very annoying. Among the 3 people in Team 7, she only values Haruno Sakura, thinking that Haruno Sakura has a perfect medical talent and is an excellent talent. 2 levels. Haruno Sakura seemed to understand, but actually didn't understand anything, because Tsunade's answer was like no answer. Might Guy raised his thumb, his white teeth flashed a light, and said cheerfully, "No need to think about nature transformation, burn your youth, it will make you stronger." He never thought about nature transformation, because he couldn't use chakra well at all, but he also occupied a place in the ninja world with his own efforts. DB. Haruno Sakura laughed awkwardly. What's wrong with these people? Who understands what they are talking about? From this point of view, Mr. Yagyu is still a normal person. Sarutobi Asuma lit a cigarette, took a puff and exhaled a cloud of smoke. He did not join in the casual chat of the crowd, but stared at the back of Yagyu Tsuki in the distance, and said in a deep voice, "Hokage-sama, are we just going to watch? Since Yagyu Tsuki said to fight 1 against 2, we will wait and see for a while, and make our own judgment if there is any mistake." 0. Tsunade smelled the smoke, frowned slightly, and said in a deep voice, "Put out the cigarette and stay away from me." She didn't think anything before, but now there is a child in her belly, and absorbing secondhand smoke will be harmful to health. Yes. Sarutobi Asuma was confused, put out the cigarette honestly, and then walked away from Tsunade. Strange. Did I do something wrong? At this time, on the other side. You wasted a precious round, try your best. Yagyu Tsuki held the big sword Samahata at the tip of his finger, sipped the lollipop in his mouth, and smiled lightly, giving people a sense of arrogance. You are so relaxed and calm while guarding Jinchuriki and us. You even want to fight 2 people alone. What an arrogant man. Hoshigaki Kisame licked the corner of his mouth, revealing a cruel smile like blood loss, and the big sword Samahata in his hand was trembling slightly, and the chakra seemed to be very excited now. It was the first time that Samahata was so excited, which meant that Yagyu Tsuki's chakra was much more delicious than Nine Tails' Jinchuriki. It would be really troublesome if all the ninjas in the village rushed forward. At that time, even I would consider whether to retreat, but Yagyu Tsuki, this arrogant guy, actually gave up fighting with the ninjas of the same village, and wanted to win by fighting 1 against 2. It was extremely stupid, but Yagyu Tsuki 4.6's arrogant idea also saved himself a lot of effort. It's okay, choose the way you like to attack at will, but I advise you to use all your strength and science, otherwise you will lose the opportunity to show it. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand, and raised his chin slightly, showing a sense of mockery and pride. After all, you are very weak. Although I am fighting 1 against 2, the purpose is to test the ability of Tensigen, but since Kisame said 3 rounds, I will give the enemy 3 rounds of chances. After all, the Stinky Shark is a cage-level strongman, and it is also a rare enemy. If the Stinky Shark meets me, I will kill it in seconds, without any chance to show its own strength. That is more or less a bit pitiful. Open black lens bracket 116 close black lens bracket super, Planetary Devastation. Very, very weak? Are these 2 Super S-Class rebels very weak? Everyone in the audience was slightly stunned, looking at Hoshigaki Kisame in disbelief. They could feel Kisame's huge chakra, which was beyond the 3rd Hokage, and the Uchiha Shao who killed the whole clan was the most dangerous S-Class rebel in the ninja world. Team 7 was also very confused. They were just killed by Kisame in seconds, but they deeply understood Kisame's terrible strength, and even Naruto who burst out Nine Tails chakra had no power to resist Hoshigaki Kisame. And Uchiha Itachi was even more outrageous. Even if Sasuke used all his strength, he was still pressed to the ground by Itachi. These guys, are they weak? How is that possible? These guys are stronger than all the enemies they have met before, especially that Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi just stood there, and his evil and cold chakra made Team 7 in vain. But even such a terrible enemy, Mr. Yagyu actually said that they are weak? Weak? Who is weak? Hoshigaki Kisame looked confused, staring at Yagyu Tsuki in front of him, staring at Yagyu's frivolous and arrogant face. Weak? Who? Me and Mr. Itachi 03? Huh? I have been a Super S-Class rebel ninja for many years, and I have seen countless confident enemies, but this is the first time I have seen a ninja as arrogant as Yagyu Tsuki. Mr. Itachi and I are both real cage-level strongmen, and we are the best ninjas in the whole ninja world. The combat power that I can unleash when I merge with the Sakura can even touch the threshold of super cage level, and Mr. Itachi is very likely to have super cage level combat power. But Yagyu Tsuki actually said that we are weak? Even the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Pain, is not arrogant enough to say that we are weak, but what confidence do you have to say this? Yagyu Tsuki's high-handed attitude and arrogant and contemptuous tone are as if he has already determined that his own strength is far beyond that of himself and Mr. Itachi. Yagyu Tsuki, how dare you say that? What do you rely on to be so arrogant? Give me 3 rounds? Idiot, you are not qualified to say that to me. Even the Mizukage of the Mist Village is afraid of me. The 3 rounds I said means I will finish you within 3 rounds. Hoshigaki Kisame suddenly jumped back and kept a distance from Yagyu Tsuki. Mr. Itachi, please don't do it yet. I will tell this smiling guy that a man who only talks big is a waste. Hoshigaki Kisame clapped his hands together, and his whole body burst out with strong chakra, which made everyone present change their expressions slightly. That's what I meant, Uchiha Itachi said indifferently. He had no intention of taking action from beginning to end, because his purpose of returning to the village this time was to meet Danzo and see the situation of Uchiha Sasuke. If the village can take over and solve Kisame, it will be a good thing for the village in the future. If Kisame is solved by everyone in the village, then the Akatsuki organization should stop its activities in a short time. This will give Sasuke time to become stronger. He doesn't need to worry about Kisame taking 9 tails away, because Yagyu Tsuki's strength seems to be stronger than expected. So far, Yagyu Tsuki has not used wood style. Just relying on some strange means, he can suppress Kisame with strong cage-level strength. This is the best proof. Water style big explosion water wave. Hoshigaki Kisame spits out a large wave from his mouth. Boom boom. The huge wave rises from the ground, rolling and slapping the ground, and in just a moment it covers the entire park. Although it is an ill-level water style, with Kisame's tailed beast level chakra, the range of this move is extremely outrageous. 1,000 sharks. Hoshigaki Kisame bit his finger and slapped the surface of the waves with both hands. Bang. A large cloud of white smoke appeared in the waves, and thousands of large sharks appeared out of thin air, swimming quickly in the waves. So strong. Everyone in the audience stood on the waves with chakra, looking at the huge waves covering the entire park and the 1,000 sharks surging in the waves, and everyone gradually showed shocked expressions. In a place without water, the ninja named Hoshigaki Kisame can use such a large range of water style out of thin air. His strength is a bit ridiculous. In terms of water style, no one in the village should be better than him. Yuhi Kurenai supported Tsunade and stared at Hoshigaki Kisame in the distance. She was very puzzled as to why Tsunade became so weak, but now there was no time to think about so many things. Because those 1,000 sharks were all very strange summoning beasts. Summoning 1,000 summoning beasts in one breath, since she met Yagyu Tsuki, it was the second time she saw someone's chakra comparable to the tailed beasts. Is this Akatsuki? Uchiha Sasuke had an ugly expression, and a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. Damn it. How can they all be so strong? The amount of chakra of this Kisame seems to be equal to that of Hanzo. Tsunade frowned and stared at Hoshigaki Kisame in the distance. She thought that Kisame could be on the same level as Hanzo in terms of chakra volume. Hanzo? When this was said, some people in the audience were confused and some were shocked. Many Jōnin present had heard the rumors about Hanzo. He was an enemy that once caused headaches for major ninja villages. He was called a man with demigod power and was an enemy that could only be defeated by the combined efforts of the Sannin. Master's wife, are you in a bad condition? I'll take you back to rest first. Haruno Sakura saw that Tsunade was pale and seemed to be in a bad physical condition. It's okay. Tsunade said, she really felt weak all over now, and had a feeling of wanting to vomit but unable to, but she was a little worried about the safety of the dead white-haired man, so she would wait and see for the time being. If the dead white-haired man is really in danger, she would have to take action even if she had to endure the weakness. Of course. I'm not worried about the dead white-haired man, just because this idiot is the father of the child. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Haruno Sakura didn't say anything. Yuhi Kurenai pouted, and Team 7 called Tsunade's wife one sentence after another, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Yagyu Tsuki, you have to be careful, these sharks can absorb chakra, and they will not disappear until they bite you to death. Hoshigaki Kisame raised the corner of his mouth slightly, revealing a cold smile. This move is Kisame's strongest attack in normal times, and it is his most offensive move at present. The sharks in the waves can absorb chakra and all ninjutsu containing chakra. After swallowing the target's chakra, these sharks can become stronger. A very badass ability, it can even kill a cage-level warrior. The core of a ninja is chakra, and when chakra is absorbed, it will become very weak. If you give up using ninjutsu and switch to taijutsu, an ordinary ninja will not be able to fight against 1,000 summoning beasts on his own. So this move is very unsolvable. All the sharks swam quickly and attacked Yagyu Tsuki at Mach speed. After all, you didn't wait for that move. Let me make it clear first. I didn't deliberately mock you for being weak. Everything I said was the truth. I gave you the opportunity to show your ability, but you didn't seize it. Yagyu Yu's eyes turned into a misty blue tensigan, and the extremely huge chakra instantly covered the entire village. This terrifying aura made it difficult for everyone present to breathe. The reason why he gave Kisame 3 rounds of opportunities was to wait for Kisame to use the unity of man and sword and take out the strongest attack that could be called a trump card. But unfortunately, Kisame is still playing and didn't take my words seriously at all. Alas. I have no patience. Well, I'll kill you in seconds. I'll make an exception and let you see once the ability of your Akatsuki leader. Yagyu Yu clasped his hands together. Super, Planetary Devastation. Open black lens bracket 117 close black lens bracket Sage Art. The flower and tree world is born. Ong. The dark substance floated into the sky. Under its strong gravitational pull, the whole village began to tremble violently, and canyon-like cracks appeared on the ground. People, huge waves, sharks, buildings, land, forests, and everything in the village were floating into the sky, whether it was Kisame and Itachi, or the ninjas present, even Team 7 were floating into the sky. This move completely surpassed the Vortex Nagato's Planetary Devastation. It was a super planetary devastation combined with the power of 6 paths, which can also be called 6 paths Planetary Devastation. It was enough to suppress the top 6 paths power of the 9-tailed beasts at the same time in an instant. What? What is this? Haruno Sakura and others felt that they were being pulled by an invisible force and flew towards the dark substance without resistance. Moon. Moon. This is Yagyu Moon. The power of God. Sarutobi Asuma's expression gradually became confused, and he looked at the huge sphere in the sky that attracted everything in shock. The huge sphere floating in the sky was almost exactly the same as the moon. Damn white hair, our village has just been built. Do you want to destroy the village again? And this move ignores enemy and friendly attacks. Tsunade condensed chakra at the bottom of his feet, but was still sucked into the sky by the strong gravity. Yanagi-san, Yagyu-sensei. Everyone in Class 7 exclaimed. Although Yagyu-sensei's move was extremely shocking, it was obviously an attack that ignored enemies and destroyed everything. Sorry, I was having a little fun. Yagyu Moon snapped his fingers, and as the crisp sound rang out from his fingertips, the dark matter in the sky disappeared out of thin air, and everything fell to the ground after losing gravity. So troublesome. But there was no way. This move really ignores the attacks of both enemies and ourselves. When dealing with Kisame and Itachi, it will also deal with everyone in the village. Those garbage in the village don't matter. But Team 7 is his important tool. Although he is not so heartbroken after losing Team 7, he will lose a lot of rewards after losing Team 7. And he has his own harem in the village. Let's cancel Planetary Devastation for now. Having said that, he is just testing once to see if he can use the Planetary Devastation of the 6 paths level. Huh. Everyone in the audience fell to the ground with the soil. After seeing the dark matter in the sky disappear, whether it was Kisame and Itachi, or all the friendly ninjas present, they all breathed a sigh of relief from the bottom of their hearts. Yagyu Tsuki turned around and looked at the pale Tsunade and others, and said with a faint smile, "There is no need to be afraid, just treat it as a game. Life always needs some thrilling romance. It doesn't matter if there is no such romance. I'll deal with you when I get back." Tsunade's eyes moved slightly, and he wanted to teach Yagyu Tsuki a lesson, but now there are so many people watching, and teaching Yagyu Tsuki a lesson would make Yagyu Tsuki lose face. So go home and talk. You'll be dead when you get home, byway. Go back. Yuhi Kurenai looked at Tsunade strangely. Go back and deal with it. Where to go? Why does it feel like Tsunade-sama is a little weird today? Let's continue, stinky shark. I still have things to do after the fight. Yagyu looked at Hoshigaki Kisame in the distance. Water-style big salmon technique. Hoshigaki Kisame didn't say much, his expression gradually became heavy. He realized at this moment that Yagyu Tsuki seemed to have an extraordinary destructive power, which was exactly the same as that of Akatsuki leader Pain. Yagyu Tsuki hasn't used wood style yet, so it is very likely that he still has some killer moves. We must fight quickly. Ong. A huge blue shark formed by water condensed in front of Hoshigaki Kisame. The shark leapt out like a cannonball and bombarded Yagyu Tsuki at a speed several times that of Mach. This move is his strongest attack at present, the strongest 10 attacks outside of human fusion. Sharks can absorb chakra and ninjutsu, thereby increasing power without limit. This move is the nemesis of all ninjas. If the enemy uses physical skills to defend, then they will have to accept the shark's devastating blow. There is no use running away, the shark will lock chakra and track it infinitely. It turns out that the sword and man have not yet merged. Well, you will never have a chance to use it in the future. I am a man who keeps his word and keeps his promise. If I say I will kill you in seconds, I will kill you in seconds. Let me use a move that I haven't used for a long time. Lu Shungyue clasped his hands together. Sage Art Flower Tree World Birth. Boom boom. The ground shook violently. Great Zhao. Countless vines rose from the ground, and in an instant it became a vast forest. All the trees and vines have a flower that has not bloomed on the top. And the giant shark used by Hoshigaki Kisame was completely absorbed by the vines. Yagyu Tsuki stood on the top of a vine, looking down at Kisame and Itachi indifferently and proudly, and said in a condescending tone, "Open, Ong." The pink buds in the vast forest slowly bloomed, and the light golden pollen covered the entire forest with the breeze. Those who inhaled the pollen would have their chakra disordered, and this piece of pollen was also absorbing the chakra of people in the area. Tsunade and others were protected by the vines, and all the pollen seemed to be conscious and did not flow towards them. Open black lens bracket 118 close black lens bracket Amaterasu. This pollen is poisonous, Mr. Itachi, please be careful not to inhale too much. Hoshigaki Kisame knelt on the ground with his whole body weak. After inhaling the pollen, he found that the chakra in his whole body became disordered and difficult to control freely, and the chakra was still flowing at a very fast speed. Is this the legendary power of wood style? Obviously, he has not used his full strength yet, but at this moment, he can't do anything. What a weird ability. Uchiha Itachi knelt on one leg and looked at Yagyu Tsuki in the distance with Sharingan. He also became weak after inhaling the pollen, but his condition was much better than Kisame's, because Mangekyo's pupil power could barely resist for a while. This is enough to suppress Uchiha Madara. How can you two ordinary people compete with it? Although the way to deal with you lacks ornamental, it is also dramatic enough. Yagyu Tsuki slowly walked towards Hoshigaki Kisame, picked up the big knife Samahata that fell on the ground, and looked down at Kisame's ugly face with indifference and pride. Flower Tree World Advent is an auxiliary control ability. Hashirama used this move to suppress Uchiha Madara with Mangekyo Sharingan in the past. Even at that time, Uchiha Madara was far more powerful than Kiyomi 190 and wrong. The power of Yagyu Tsuki using this move is even stronger than first Hokage Hashirama, so Kisame and Itachi have no way to resist Flower Tree World Advent. If they have first-generation cells, they can resist for a while, or they can resist with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the power of the Tailed Beast, or even the power of Six Paths Rinnegan. But Kisame and Itachi are a bit shabby, especially Kisame is just a civilian ninja. Although he is called a human-shaped tailed beast, he does not have the characteristics of a tailed beast after all. Die, don't hate me, hate your own incompetence. I warned you countless times to use your ultimate strength, but unfortunately. Stupid. Yagyu Tsuki slashed at Kisame's neck with the big knife Samahata, and the sharp barbs directly cut off Kisame's neck. Hoshigaki Kisame's vision was spinning, the head of the body flew up into the air, the headless body sprayed a lot of scarlet blood, and finally the head fell to the ground and lost consciousness. He couldn't believe it until his death. Yagyu Tsuki was so powerful, and Mr. Itachi actually said, "Let me hold Yagyu Tsuki for 3 minutes, hold a man with such power for 3 minutes, is there any difference between asking me to die?" Kisame died casually because the difference in strength was too big. Hoshigaki Kisame is a cage-level strongman, even the best among cage-level, but it's a pity that Yagyu Tsuki is a six-paths strongman. Below the six paths, everyone is an ant. Mr. Yagyu, your strength is indeed very strong, completely beyond my imagination. With your strength, you should be able to protect the village. Uchiha Itachi knelt on the ground, struggling to resist the toxicity of the pollen, and looked at Yagyu Tsuki with the three-tomo Sharingan. He had never imagined that Yagyu Tsuki's strength could reach such a level, far beyond his understanding of Yagyu Tsuki. That is to say, Yagyu Tsuki's strength increased terribly in a short period of time. Yagyu Tsuki said with disgust, "No, no, no, don't try to get close to me, I'm afraid you'll stab me in the back." "Sir, the dead guy is still trying to get close to me. Be careful of Shimura Danzo." Uchiha Itachi smiled bitterly. He knew what Yagyu Tsuki was thinking, but the village was everything, and it was worth sacrificing for the village. "ADCB, Danzo is dead, do you have anything else to say? If not, you'll die too," Yagyu Tsuki said impatiently. His original purpose was to test the Tenseigan's ability to see if he could use the planetary devastation of the Six Paths level, but now that he has achieved his goal, there is no need to play anymore. Solve the matter as soon as possible, and then train Team 7 to practice, and have an appointment with Lil Hinata. Tonight, they will go to the Hyuga clan to do, live. Dead, you are worthy of me, but I still have ambitions to fulfill, and I don't plan to die here at the moment. The three Magatama in Uchiha Itachi's eyes turned into a windmill-shaped Mangekyo. He is now seriously ill, but he must stay alive until his ambition is fulfilled. Moreover, the person who can kill him must be Uchiha Sasuke. Everything is for the village, Amaterasu. Uchiha Itachi's eyes condensed, scarlet blood flowed from his eye sockets, and Yagyu Tsuki's whole body was burning with dark high-temperature flames. Amaterasu? The flame that cannot be extinguished is indeed a considerable power, but this power is a bit child's play in my eyes. With Yagyu Tsuki as the core, a strong repulsive force erupted, which shook off the dark flames and 10 small pits appeared on the ground. The flames that flew out of Wang ignited the forest and even directly evaporated the huge waves left by Kisame before his death. It can be said that Amaterasu is the strongest fire style in the world. Its characteristics are that it can ignite everything within the reach of the naked eye, and it is an eternal and inextinguishable flame. Sister Hong Hong, Be careful, this thing can't be extinguished. Yagyu Tsuki poked the black flame with wood style and turned his head to look at Kurenai and others in the distance. I know Amaterasu. Kurenai glanced at the black flame and gradually showed a solemn expression. She knew some of the characteristics of Amaterasu, and it was the only fire style that could be rated as S-level fire style. It's a bit strange to say fire style, or to be more precise, its pupil power. Amaterasu. Tsunade frowned and thought to herself. I have the flesh and blood of the dead white hair, but this idiot actually cares about Kurenai first? Although I am a cage-level strongman, it's okay for him to care about me once in a while, right? Open black lens bracket 119 close black lens bracket Uchiha Itachi is angry, Susanoo. Bounced. Uchiha Itachi was stunned. It was the first time he saw someone who could completely defend against Amaterasu. It was more like being blown away by an invisible force than saying that Yagyu Tsuki defended against Amaterasu. And this force, it was exactly the same ability as the Rinnegan of Akatsuki leader Pain. Could it be that Yagyu Tsuki also possessed the legendary Rinnegan? Uchiha Itachi asked hesitantly, Mr. Yagyu, do you have the Rinnegan? No, Yagyu Tsuki answered truthfully. He did not have the Rinnegan, but he had the more precious Tensigen. The Tensigen was an ability that had never appeared in the history of the ninja world, and the difficulty of opening the eyes was far beyond the scope of the Rinnegan. Since Amaterasu is useless, then use another eye. You still have some tricks. Yagyu Tsuki said lightly. He knew that Uchiha Itachi still had Tsukuyomi and Susanoo that he hadn't used yet. That was also Uchiha Hiroshi's final trump card. Your ability is indeed very strange, but my eyes are above everything. Any trick is meaningless in front of my eyes. No matter how strong the defense is, it can't defend against illusions. Uchiha Itachi said indifferently, as if he was talking about a very ordinary thing. He was not arrogant, nor did he brag, but he really believed that even if Yagyu Tsuki had a strange ability, he still couldn't match the power of his Mangekyo. Because his Mangekyo possessed the world's strongest fire style and the world's strongest illusion at the same time. Although Amaterasu didn't work, he still had the strongest Tsukuyomi. Even he, Susanoo, also possessed the Uchiha clan's strongest 3 god-tier weapons, the strongest sealing technique 10-fisted sword, the strongest absolute defense Yata mirror, and even the strongest attack 8. Gautama. The 10-fisted sword can seal everything, and the Yata mirror can bounce everything. This is his true power, so Uchiha Itachi believed from the bottom of his heart that even if Yagyu Tsuki had wood style and strange abilities, he couldn't match and defeat his Mangekyo. Pretending is good, but can you move now? Uchiha Shao glanced at the golden pollen in the air, and then looked at him with a mocking smile. Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi did not answer. He really could not move now because he inhaled a lot of pollen, which caused his chakra to be abnormally chaotic and even his cancer was accelerating. Teacher Yagyu, will the illusion work? Haruno Sakura was puzzled. Since she met Yagyu Tsuki, she had never seen anyone who could hurt Yagyu Tsuki. In Haruno Sakura's eyes, Yagyu Tsuki was an invincible ninja, but for such an invincible ninja, would the illusion really work? Yagyu Tsuki pinched his chin and said thoughtfully, it's hard to say. You can only know if you try it. I can ignore all illusion attacks because I have a sage body, but Tsukuyomi is a more peculiar illusion, a bit like the ability to expand a domain. But now I also have the power of Tensigen, so it is hard to say whether Tsukuyomi is useful or not. Only when they are evenly matched can they be called opponents. When the difference in strength between the two sides is too great, it is just one-sided bullying. Tsukuyomi. Even if we take a million steps back and say that Uchiha Itachi's Tsukuyomi can have a control effect, it is meaningless. Mizukage. Everyone in the audience was slightly startled. They had no sense of crisis because of Yagyu Tsuki's power, which suppressed the enemy too much. What? Yagyu Yu frowned slightly and looked at everyone strangely. That crazy woman Terumi Mei. Yagyu Tsuki was also slightly startled, and turned his head to look at Anbu in the distance, before he finished speaking. The faces of the people in the audience changed drastically. They never thought that Yagyu Yu would be careless in front of the enemy. Damn white hair. Looking at such a relaxed and pleasant atmosphere, I thought Mr. Yagyu was teaching students. And, sorry, did you attack just now? I didn't pay much attention. Yagyu Tsuki looked at Uchiha Itachi. He didn't pay attention to Itachi's attack just now, but was more concerned about what Terumi Mei, the crazy woman, was doing. Mr. Yagyu, you are too careless. This is the power of Uchiha. Uchiha Itachi Mangekyo condensed, the windmill pattern in his right eye turned, and 10 strands of scarlet blood flowed out of the corner of his eye. By the way, are we fighting with the enemy here? Yagyu. Even if I stand and let the Uchiha beast hit me, I can kill the little beast alive. Is it my fault? Anbu was confused. He was just reporting, but he didn't expect it to change the situation. He did launch Tsukuyomi just now, and it did hit Yagyu Tsuki, but why didn't Tsukuyomi work? Everyone was stunned. How could Yagyu Tsuki act like nothing happened after hitting Tsukuyomi? Just don't make trouble. There are several concubines in the village, and these concubines haven't discovered that he already has several women at the same time. In other words, Zero Uchiha Itachi said indifferently, in Tsukuyomi's world, space, time, and even quality, everything is at my disposal. What's the purpose of coming here on your own initiative? Yagyu teacher. Anyway, use it. So many people are watching. Whoever loses will be embarrassed. Yagyu Tsuki sipped his lollipop. His faint smile was full of confidence. He never regarded Kisame and Itachi as opponents from the beginning to the end. Yagyu Tsuki couldn't help but laughed out loud, peeved. I'm just kidding. Actually, I know it's useless, but since you're so confident, I'll let you use it once anyway. An Anbu ninja instantly appeared beside Tsunade, knelt on one knee and said respectfully, Report, Hokage-sama, Mizukage-sama is here. It was the first time for Uchiha Itachi to be teased like this. Susanoo. Uchiha Itachi's eyes condensed, and he burst out with powerful chakra. Dark red chakra covered his whole body, and finally formed a skeleton-shaped Susanoo. Since Amaterasu didn't work, Tsukuyomi didn't work either. Because I have a recovery ability that exceeds 100 heroes, and Uchiha Itachi is in a state of kidney deficiency, there's a risk of illness at any time. How? How is it possible? Even Uchiha Itachi showed an unbelievable expression, staring at Yagyu's calm and composed back. 0. Asking for flowers. Then what about Susanoo? Tsukuyomi is a legendary illusion, and also the strongest illusion in the world. Only Sharingan can barely compete with Tsukuyomi, and Yagyu has no Sharingan. How can he defend against Tsukuyomi? Open black lens bracket 120 close black lens bracket instantly kills Susanoo? Everyone in the audience trembled, and everyone looked at Uchiha Itachi in panic. What is this chakra? So scary, cold, evil, full of dark breath, is it the power of Sharingan? What is that armor-like skeleton? Is it also one of the powers of Sharingan? Everyone in the audience changed their faces and stared at the scarlet skeleton armor that covered Uchiha Itachi's body. It seemed to be formed by chakra. Is this the power of Sharingan? Uchiha Sasuke was stunned, and Susanoo looked at Uchiha Itachi with 10 fears in his eyes. Because he had Sharingan, he could perceive more clearly than everyone else how terrible Uchiha Itachi's 897 chakra was now. This is the third eye technique that can only be used by people with a pair of Mangekyo, and it is also the ultimate secret of Sharingan, Susanoo. Uchiha Itachi's illness broke out, and the skeleton armor covering his entire body changed. The meridians and flesh were entangled on the skeleton, making the skeleton seem to have flesh and blood. The evil dark chakra covered the entire venue, causing everyone in the audience to feel a sense of crisis. Susanoo, which covered Uchiha Itachi's entire body, put on a layer of light armor formed by chakra, holding a red sword in one hand and a red shield in the other. Susanoo. The third stage. Mr. Yagyu, you are indeed very strong, but no one who has seen Susanoo can leave alive. Uchiha Itachi's eyes were in great pain, and a large piece of scarlet blood spit out of his mouth. In his current state, he could not maintain Susanoo for too long. He planned to deal with Yagyu Tsuki in front of Uchiha Sasuke, and then further intensify Sasuke's hatred. Uchiha Itachi's fingers moved slightly, Susanoo slowly raised the 10-fist sword, and then slashed fiercely at Yagyu Tsuki. Susanoo's swing and slash generated a strong airflow, which turned into a gust of wind and tore the ground, and even blew away the weaker ninjas present. Tsuki, be careful. Yuhi Kurenai's pupils shrank, looking at Susanoo's long sword in the distance, slashing at Yagyu Tsuki at a very fast speed. Yagyu still calmly followed the activities. Tsunade affirmed, he's fine. Susanoo is indeed a very strange power, but the power used by Uchiha Itachi is far below the power used by the dead white-haired in the country of waves at that time. Moreover, the wood style of his grandfather Hashirama can suppress Uchiha Madara's Susanoo, and Uchiha Itachi's Susanoo is not as strong as Madara's, and the power of the dead white-haired wood style is above Hashirama. This stack is very obvious. Yuhi Kurenai didn't say anything. She looked at the battle in the distance nervously. She secretly complained in her heart. Lord Tsunade seems to trust you very much. Strange. Tsunade used to hate you very much. Why does he trust you now? Is this Susanoo? It's a pretty impressive trick. Yagyu put his hands in his pockets and jumped back to avoid the extremely fast attack of the 10-fist sword. The faint 10 eyes of the King Fist sword contained strange chakra. What will happen if I am injured by this sword? It was the first time he saw Susanoo after crossing over, because Mangekyo Sharingan is a rare ability, and Kakashi and Obito, the two one-eyed dragons, can't use Susanoo. It can be said that the only people in the world who can use Susanoo are Uchiha beasts. But to be honest, Susanoo is just like that. You will die, Uchiha Itachi said indifferently. Really? That's really scary. A pale golden chakra appeared in Lu Shungyu's palm, and the chakra gradually turned into a golden sword. The golden sword contained a destructive aura, which made everything around it annihilate. But you are the one who will die. Golden Wheel Reincarnation Explosion. Yagyu Tsuki used the golden sword formed by chakra to slash at Uchiha Itachi, who was covered by Susanoo. Boom boom. A fierce blow caused the mountains to collapse and the ground to crack. A light golden airflow covered the entire venue. Susanoo was directly blown away. The golden sword cut the ground after landing. The wind blew and black smoke billowed. The black smoke drifted into the sky with the wind and finally formed a small mushroom cloud. So strong. Everyone in the audience exclaimed. This blow alone was enough to destroy Susanoo, and even cut the ground, causing the entire village to fall apart. How many elite Earth-style ninjas would it take to restore the ground to its previous state? How is it possible? This power is unbelievable. Uchiha Itachi vomited blood and fell to the ground, lying on the ground with his whole body powerless, staring at Yagyu Tsuki in disbelief, and then his consciousness gradually blurred and he fainted. He was now in a state of near death. So strong. Everyone in Team 7 was shocked, even Yuhi Kurenai was very shocked, and fell to the ground with weak legs, staring at Yagyu Tsuki's back in a daze. The enemy was still 4.5 intimidating in the previous second, and Yagyu Tsuki killed the enemy in seconds in the next second. This is outrageous. Very outrageous. Anyway, I'll let you live. Yagyu Tsuki stopped at the end and did not completely kill Uchiha Itachi, because the Uchiha beast still has value to live. That is Sasuke. The Uchiha beast is the motivation for Sasuke to become stronger. As long as Uchiha Itachi is still alive, Sasuke will always want to become stronger. If he loses this hatred motivation, it will definitely affect Sasuke's practice. If it affects Sasuke's practice, it will affect the benefits of the sign in reward. So the Uchiha beast still has some value to use. Just wait until the last value of the Uchiha beast is squeezed out before killing it. Open black lens bracket 121 close black lens bracket. The spoils are Mangekyo. So, you want revenge, brat? I'll give you a chance now. Yagyu Tsuki picked up the unconscious Uchiha Itachi and threw him in front of Sasuke like trash. Go ahead, it's the handsome Yagyu teacher who helped you complete the revenge. Yagyu Tsuki picked up the kunai on the ground and threw it in front of Uchiha Sasuke, saying lightly, you want him to die? Revenge. Uchiha Sasuke picked up the kunai and looked at Itachi who was unconscious in front of him. He recalled the night of the genocide in his mind. His parents died tragically, and his clan members died tragically, but he could only be powerless and furious, watching Uchiha Itachi commit violence. Since the night of the genocide, he has been an avenger. As long as he can complete the revenge, any price doesn't matter, because this is the motivation for him to survive. When I met Uchiha Itachi today, I was still defeated in seconds with all my strength. However, Mr. Yagyu easily defeated Uchiha Itachi, and now the life and death of Uchiha Itachi is in my hands. There is only one chance. Now is that chance. Now I can easily kill Uchiha Itachi and avenge the dead clan members. The rebellious ninja should be handed over to the torture department. Anbu was about to speak. It's okay. Tsunade raised her hand to stop Anbu from speaking. She believed in Yagyu Tsuki's judgment and could probably see what Yagyu Tsuki was doing. It should be a test for Sasuke, right? If Sasuke completes his revenge with the help of others, then the efforts since the extermination of the clan until today will become a joke. What is revenge? Resolving the enemy, untying the knot in the heart, and avenging the important people with your own hands can be called revenge. The most important thing about revenge is the knot in the heart. Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Sasuke's eyes condensed, and his eyes turned into 3 Tomo Sharingan, and he thrust his kunai into Uchiha Itachi's neck fiercely. Is that all? Yagyu Tsukishiro frowned slightly. With the current state of mind of Uchiha, even if he killed Uchiha Itachi, he would not be able to open his eyes, and would even turn into a walking corpse driven by hatred. In an instant, Uchiha Sasuke recalled what Yagyu Tsukishiro had just said, and suddenly stopped the kunai in front of Uchiha Itachi's neck. Yagyu teacher, what should I do? Uchiha Sasuke said hoarsely. From that day on, revenge was my motivation to live, even if I had to pay the price to survive. I had to become stronger. Revenge was everything for me at the moment. It is also the value of my life. If I use the hands of Mr. Yagyu to complete revenge, then what is the meaning of my determination to strive for strength? Is Mr. Yagyu testing me? But the enemy is right in front of me. As long as I move my hands, I can complete revenge and avenge my dead parents and clansmen. What should I do? He wants Yagyu Yu to help him make a decision. Who knows? Yagyu Yu looked down at Uchiha Sasuke lightly and said, don't expect others to influence your thoughts. What you think is right is right. Becoming stronger or picking up leaks, do whatever you want to satisfy. People who have not experienced genocide are not qualified to talk about your affairs. Working hard to become stronger and then taking revenge is a way of living, and picking up leaks to complete revenge is also a way of living. How to satisfy yourself, just do it. I understand, I will work hard to become stronger and gain strength, and then complete revenge with my own hands. Uchiha Sasuke threw the kunai away, stood up and put his hands in his pockets and looked at Yagyu Yu. Revenge is the value of his life, and he will work hard to prove this value. Really? Then work hard. Yagyu Yu walked in front of Uchiha Itachi and smeared some of Uchiha Itachi's blood on his fingertips. You seem to have a very interesting treasure. As a trophy, I will gladly accept it. Summoning. Yagyu Yu slapped the ground. Bang, pale smoke bulged, and the black crow flew to Yagyu Yu's fingertips. It may hurt, don't move. Yagyu Yu dug out the crow's left eye, which was a scarlet 3-Hookdo-3-3 Jade Sharingan, which contained a strong pupil power. Very good. Now I have a pair of Hypnosis Mangekyo, which can use hypnosis twice in a short period of time. After using it, it takes a long time for Suhadong to gradually recover the pupil power. One is for Konan, and who is the other one for? Let's talk about it later. I plan to let this beast go. Hokage-sama, do you have any objection? Yagyu Tsuki picked up Uchiha Itachi and looked at Tsunade with a faint smile. Let's let the Uchiha beast go for the time being, as motivation for the Uchiha brat. When Sasuke is ready to open his eyes in the future, use Itachi to help Sasuke open his eyes. You have already decided. Why are you still asking me? Tsunade said coldly, the dead white-haired man's words. Hokage Lord. Sounded strange, as if he was teasing me. That's right. Yagyu Tsuki threw Uchiha Itachi away. Obito, are you there? Claim him quickly. 122. Terumi Mei is coming to visit. Is the harem going to be in chaos? Obito? Everyone in the audience was slightly startled. Obito refers to Uchiha Obito, right? If I remember correctly, the masked man last time was Obito. Is Uchiha Obito nearby? But why can't I feel the chakra breath, and there is no reaction from the barrier in the village? Ong. The space around Uchiha Itachi was distorted, and he disappeared with the distorted space. Then Uchiha Obito just appeared out of thin air, looking at Yagyu Tsuki with only one eye exposed. Yagyu Tsuki, go to hell. If you can die, I will be much more at ease. You just know how to hinder my plan all day long. Uchiha Obito's indifferent tone was full of resentment. After the failure of these plans, he almost hated Yagyu Tsuki. Obviously, many plans could have succeeded, but they were all disrupted by Yagyu Tsuki. If Yagyu Tsuki hadn't been there in the Land of Waves, Nine Tails would have been almost in Akatsuki's pocket, and Yagyu Tsuki mentioned Akatsuki's secret, or more precisely, Nagato's secret in the Land of Waves. This led Konan and Nagato to suspect that he had betrayed, because the only people who knew Nagato's secret were Konan and him, Uchiha Obito. So when Yagyu Tsuki told Nagato's secret, Konan first suspected Obito. The same thing happened with Orochimaru. Obviously, Obito had captured one-tailed Shukaku, but was intercepted by Yagyu Tsuki who suddenly appeared. And this time, Obito was still thinking about waiting for Kisame and Itachi to disrupt the situation of the entire village, and then taking the opportunity to capture Nine Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto. But, Kisame and Itachi were killed by Yagyu Tsuki in seconds. Is it so difficult to catch a tailed beast? Uchiha Obito wants Yagyu Tsuki to die even in his dreams. Yagyu always hinders Infinite Tsukuyomi's plan. See you next time. When we meet next time, even you will definitely lose. Uchiha Obito did not stay for long and disappeared completely with the distorted space. Be patient and wait. Wait for Uzumaki Nagato to recover his pupil power and for Uchiha Madara to fully revive. Then, Yagyu Tsuki will be able to easily deal with him. No one can stop me from creating a world with Rin. No matter who it is. Yagyu Tsuki took out a lollipop, unwrapped it and put it into his mouth, sipping it gently, looking at the place where Uchiha Obito disappeared, and said speechlessly, last time you said next time, and this time you still say next time. How long is the so-called next time? Every time you say next time more. How many next times are there? Uchiha Obito should be waiting for Uzumaki Nagato's Rinnegan to recover, right? Or he is waiting for Uchiha Madara to fully revive. To be honest. Not to mention Uzumaki Nagato, even Uchiha Madara is useless, because his current strength is already ahead of countless versions. If you want to fight with me, you must at least use the power of 6 paths. It doesn't matter, just watch Obito struggle slowly. After the fight, call it a day. Yagyu Tsuki clapped his hands, turned around and looked at the audience, and said, how long do you want to watch? Let's go. Yagyu teacher, I want to be alone. Uchiha Sasuke was in a heavy mood, and turned around and walked away quickly. It's better to calm down, so let's continue to practice. Yagyu Tsuki picked up the sleeping Uzumaki Naruto and looked at the confused Haruno Sakura. Huh? Practice directly, no post-war celebration or anything. Haruno Sakura said confusedly. He was still fighting the enemy in the previous second, and he was going to practice in the next second. Is it really okay to be so relaxed? Yagyu Tsuki looked at Haruno Sakura strangely, and said as a matter of course, you practice, I will celebrate. Haruno Sakura's mouth twitched slightly. You didn't win, I won, so you work hard to practice, I'll go celebrate this victory. Yagyu Tsuki patted Haruno Sakura's butt, and suddenly felt 2 cold gazes. He didn't need to turn around to know that the 2 gazes were from Tsunade and Yuhi Kurenai. He slapped Haruno Sakura's butt subconsciously. Yagyu teacher. So perverted. Haruno Sakura complained, and then she also felt 2 gazes, and these 2 cold gazes scared her body and trembled. I'm going to practice. Haruno Sakura couldn't stand the cold gaze, and turned around and ran to the 7th training ground in a panic. If she hadn't shown resistance just now, she would have been severely punished by Tsunade's wife, right? Yagyu teacher is so annoying. You go too. Yagyu Tsuki slapped Naruto's face a few times. What's wrong? What's wrong? Uzumaki Naruto was awakened, with his face swollen like a bun, looking around in confusion. I'll just go and have a drink comfortably. Yagyu Tsuki stretched and turned to leave. Tsunade grabbed Yagyu Tsuki's wrist and said forcefully, "Wait, come with me to the office. Mizukage's visit should be to discuss the alliance with you." The reason why Terumi Mei suddenly visited should be to discuss the alliance, and the person who allied with the ninja village was Yagyu Tsuki, so Yagyu Tsuki, the person in charge, must be present. "It's not necessary, you can just chat casually." Yagyu Tsuki resisted. He had no intention of meeting Terumi Mei at all. He could meet but not now. Many harem members were present now. If Terumi Mei went crazy and said something, the harem will be in chaos. It's useless to say more. Tsunade pulled Yagyu Tsuki toward the newly built Hokage building, and Yagyu Tsuki followed behind Tsunade speechlessly. "Ah, silly woman." Yagyu Tsuki sighed. "What did you say?" Tsunade's face darkened. "She said you were beautiful." Yagyu Tsuki was speechless. HMPH. Tsunade snorted coldly, and his face gradually softened. Yagyu. I'll go too, as the Hokage's guard. Yuhi Kurenai hesitated for a moment and quickly followed. Open black lens bracket 123 close black lens bracket Terumi Mei is pregnant? Hokage's office. The atmosphere was heavy. Terumi Mei wore her usual blue short skirt, her round and slender legs in black fishnet stockings, sitting on the sofa in front of the reception table. Behind Terumi Mei stood two Mist Village guards. One was the famous elite Jōnin, and the other was Chojuro, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Tsunade didn't have so many etiquettes. He sat on the soft sofa with his legs crossed, looked at Terumi Mei opposite with a smile, and asked, "Excuse me?" Both parties were Kage. There was no difference in status, so there was no need to pay so much attention to the hospitality, just talk casually and easily. Behind Tsunade stood 2 ninjas. One was Konoha's military strategist Nara Shikaku, and the other was Yuhi Kurenai, who strongly requested to attend the meeting. Yagyu Tsuki sat in the distance, dragging his chin with boredom on his face, looking at the blue sky and white clouds outside the window, with an attitude of not caring about it. According to 307, Mei frowned slightly. Tsunade's casual attitude made her feel that she was not taken seriously. She smiled and said, "Princess Tsunade is worthy of her name, and it is indeed as the rumors say." She took the initiative to visit to discuss things, because the news of the alliance with Yagyu Tsuki spread throughout the ninja world. Since she was in alliance with Yagyu Tsuki, it also meant an alliance with Konoha. Since it was an alliance, some things had to be discussed in person, because the alliance between 2 of the 5 major ninja villages would change the current situation of the ninja world. She initially thought about convening the 5 Kage talks, but learned that Konoha village had just survived a crisis and was currently repairing the village. If the Hokage left the village without permission, it would be very likely that other villages would take advantage of it, so she took the initiative to visit. But she had already done this, and Tsunade, as the 5th Hokage, was still so casual, which would inevitably cause her strong dissatisfaction. Why? Tsunade. ADBJ, asked deliberately. She knew that it was because of Terumi Mei that Yagyu Tsuki would form an alliance with the Kirigakure. And she was the flesh and blood of Yagyu Tsuki, so how could she be nice to Terumi Mei? It stands to reason. Since the 2 are allies, they must be polite to each other, but after the 2 villages form an alliance, Kirigakure can get the most benefits, or Yagyu Tsuki can get the most benefits. Because it was Yagyu Tsuki who formed an alliance with Kirigakure, Kirigakure will be very grateful to Yagyu Tsuki. In this alliance, Konoha plays the role of a vassal. Yagyu Tsuki can gain Terumi Mei's favor, and Kirigakure can bear the name of Yagyu Tsuki. Tsunade has no benefit, but has to deal with a lot of alliance documents. How can Tsunade be in a good mood in this situation? Terumi Mei took a sip of tea, and her delicate and charming face was very serious. She said, "Let's talk about business. Kirigakure will give you help and assist you to rebuild the village. After Orochimaru's death, we have controlled the Sound Village, and the Sound Village will be fully handed over to you to handle. The Sound Village is located at the border of the Land of Water. A few days ago, Terumi Mei directly sent people to control the Sound Village. The Sound Village without Orochimaru is like a pile of loose sand and is easy to control. Terumi Mei was not interested in managing the Sound Village before, but now it is an allied village with Konoha, and there is no way to turn a blind eye to the Sound Village. Since it is an alliance, of course, it must first make a statement to facilitate the subsequent communication between the 2 villages. Give her information." Tsunade did not look back and ordered Nara Shikaku behind him. "Yes, Hokage-sama." Nara Shikaku took out a scroll and respectfully placed it on the coffee table in front of Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei picked up the scroll and opened it in confusion. After looking at the contents inside, her eyes gradually widened. The scroll actually contained the recent information about 3 Tails. 3 Tails will be resurrected in 2 years. Tsunade actually had information about 3 Tails. If she had not just proposed to help Konoha build a village, would Tsunade have planned to conceal this information? Such a real woman. If there is the latest information about 3 Tails, I will send someone to inform you. Tsunade smiled faintly. She knew that the Mist Village wanted to recover 3 Tails at present, so she just planned to deliberately conceal the information. She wanted to see the attitude of the Mist Village. If there was no intention to form a good alliance, there would be no need to tell the Mist Village about the information about 3 Tails. But since Terumi Mei had already expressed her position for the alliance, she would also offer corresponding benefits. But you should have something else to say when you come to visit today. Tsunade said. Terumi Mei's charming face was slightly red, and she glanced at Yagyu Tsuki secretly, with embarrassment in her eyes. This subtle little action was discovered by Tsunade and Kurenai, causing a sense of crisis in the hearts of the two women at the same time. Terumi Mei pointed at Yagyu Tsuki and said, "I will talk to him alone." As soon as this was said, everyone in the audience was puzzled, even Nara Shikaku was puzzled. What on earth did Mizuguchi have to say to Yagyu Tsuki alone? Tsunade's voice was slightly cold and strong, and he said, "Just tell me directly, whatever it is, I will help him talk about it." Her words had a hidden meaning, which meant to declare sovereignty. Yagyu Tsuki walked behind Tsunade, put his hands on Tsunade's shoulders, and said with a faint smile, "Some things need to be talked about slowly. Forcibly peeping into other people's content will make people hate you." He could probably guess what Terumi Mei was going to say. If those words were heard by Tsunade and others, the harem present would definitely be in chaos. After hearing Tsunade's speech, Terumi Mei felt a sense of unwillingness to admit defeat. She raised her hand and pointed at Lu Shungyu's face, looked at Tsunade coldly, and said, "I am pregnant." His 124. Tsunade. "I'm really pregnant." The atmosphere was heavy, and no one spoke at the moment, but everyone looked at Yagyu Tsuki at the same time. After Kurenai was stunned for a moment, she gradually showed an expression of disbelief, and looked at Yagyu Tsuki with a questioning look, as if waiting for Yagyu Tsuki to explain. Tsunade was also stunned for a moment, and her delicate and heroic face gradually became cold, and she looked at Yagyu Tsuki with contempt. The dead white-haired man was really daring. No wonder the willful dead white-haired man would deliberately form an alliance with the Mist Village. The relationship has such an amazing origin. Nara Shikaku widened his eyes and almost dropped his jaw. After a moment, he secretly raised his thumbs and thought with admiration. "Awesome, Mr. Yagyu is awesome. As a man, I admire Mr. Yagyu so much. He was able to capture the heart of the famous Mizuguchi and even made Mizuguchi pregnant. He is really worthy of being Mr. Yagyu." Before this, Nara Shikaku was still very confused about why Mr. Yagyu would form an alliance with the Kirigakure. Is there any great benefit in it? But after Terumi Mei's explosive speech, he finally understood why Mr. Akiyu would form an alliance with the Sonogumi village. They are all family members. Nara Shikaku thought seriously, since Yagyu Tsuki and Terumi Mei are family members, this is a good thing for Konoha now. From now on, Konoha and the Kirigakure will have an ironclad relationship. After thinking for a moment, Nara Shikaku found that Tsunade and others had cold faces. He felt the cold atmosphere and immediately found an excuse to say, "Hokage, there is something in the interrogation department. I will go over to take a look." "Yes," Tsunade responded. "Excuse me." Nara Shikaku looked at Yagyu Tsuki and nodded slightly, then turned around and quickly left the Shiro-like room. The room was silent for a long time. Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Ching and Chojuro lightly, and said in a commanding tone, "You also go out. If you are watching the fun, I will dig out your eyes." Ao and Chojuro were startled, and looked at Terumi Mei cautiously, waiting for Terumi Mei's instructions. "Go out." Terumi Mei nodded slightly, hearing this. Ao and Chojuro left the room quickly. After the two of them left, only Kurenai, Tsunade, Terumi Mei, Yagyu Tsuki and others were left in the room. Terumi Mei's mouth twitched slightly. "Do you think the child was picked up from the trash can?" Lu Shungyue was speechless, sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed, and then grabbed the snacks placed on the coffee table. Whether it was Terumi Mei, Kurenai, or Tsunade, they didn't know how to face these things, because the sudden change really caught them off guard. "Lord Tsunade is pregnant?" the three women said at the same time. "If you win the prize in one try, it would be more or less a bit outrageous." Tsunade said, "What's it to you? Mizuguchi is so naive. He is so old but still so childish." Tsunade sneered, then gently stroked her slightly bulging belly and said, "I'm pregnant, 1 month, that damn white-haired guy. Having had S*X is also a big problem. Wait a minute." After Lu Shungyue disappeared, the three women present were even more silent. "Flirtatious. What should I say? Let's get along happily together. Men are very romantic creatures, don't underestimate the desires in the hearts of excellent men." Lu Shungyu's mouth twitched slightly, and now that things have come to this, let's just show our cards, and I'm not interested in avoiding these things. Kurenai suddenly responded that Tsunade-sama has Yagyu Tsuki's child, and Terumi Mei-sama and Yagyu Tsuki are actually married. "What's your relationship with him?" Terumi Mei asked. She was planning to discuss with Yagyu Tsuki today about when to get married, but she didn't expect Tsunade to suddenly appear halfway. "What's going on? Anyway, you guys chat slowly, I still have things to deal with here." Lu Shungyu waved her hand, and then disappeared instantly, heading to the 7th training ground. There was no way to deal with things in a short time, and this kind of thing requires a process. FK. I was shocked. What the hell? Yagyu Tsuki and I have known each other the longest. Pervert. Yagyu Tsuki's Pa. Tsunade opened Lu Shungyu's hand, picked up the snack plate and put it far away, then glared at Lu Shungyue with red eyes, as if to say that if he didn't explain it clearly, then don't eat anything. I thought it was really that amazing. You mean, I'm not pregnant? Terumi Mei asked in confusion. She had never been in love since she was a child. She had been practicing hard to change the Mist Village since she was a child. When she grew up, she governed the Mist Village without any knowledge of men and women. What about me? You rascal, what do you mean? Terumi Mei's face darkened. If you've had S*X, you'll get pregnant, right? Yuhi Kurenai was completely dumbfounded. She felt like she was being excluded. First, Terumi Mei said that she and Yagyu Tsuki were married, and then Lord Tsunade broke the shocking news. 0. Please give me flowers. Tsunade and Yuhi Kurenai were speechless, because Terumi Mei had mistakenly thought that if you've had S*X, you'll get pregnant, which means Terumi Mei is not pregnant now. Show our cards. Oh my god, are you serious? Yagyu Tsuki walked to Terumi Mei and gently stroked Terumi Mei's lower abdomen. He used his chakra perception ability to find that Terumi Mei was not pregnant. Scum. I just want to open a harem. Open black lens bracket 125 close black lens bracket. The conflict between Sasuke and Naruto. The 7th training ground. Damn it. The angry roar resounded throughout the training ground, rolling and reverberating in the forest. Uzumaki Naruto sat on the ground with gritted teeth, grabbing his hair with both hands and muttering angrily, I'm not serious yet. If I can defend against that water bullet technique, I will definitely be able to defeat that shark B***************. Haruno Sakura, who was seriously practicing his supernatural power, heard Uzumaki Naruto muttering to himself for a long time, and finally couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, Naruto, are you an idiot? He used the A-level water-style explosive water wave. No wonder Mr. Yagyu didn't care about you at that time. If he saved you, you would definitely run over to 340 and die on your own initiative. Haruno Sakura complained. Uzumaki Naruto crossed his arms, pouted and said unconvincingly, if I have another chance, I will definitely be able to defeat that glue shark. It's Hoshigaki Kisame. Alas, you are hopeless. Haruno Sakura's mouth twitched slightly. After Naruto had experienced so many things, how could he not remember any important information? Shut up, idiot, don't interfere with my practice. No matter how many chances I give you, you can't defeat an enemy of that level. Uchiha Sasuke glanced at Naruto coldly. Since he lost to Uchiha Itachi, he has worked harder in practice and is anxious to gain stronger power, but he has not been able to use his super strength well yet. In Team 7, only Haruno Sakura has completely mastered super strength and even started to practice Yang attributed nature transformation. Really, even if I'm defeated many times, I won't cry like you. Who was it that was crying? Poo. Uzumaki Naruto covered his mouth and laughed secretly. He recalled what happened 3 days ago. At that time, Uchiha Sasuke was beaten and cried by Itachi. He finally couldn't help laughing out loud. Ha 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 ha, arrogant Sasuke, you are so embarrassing. A cold color flashed in Uchiha Sasuke's eyes, and his expression gradually became very gloomy. He grabbed Uzumaki Naruto's collar and said coldly, what qualifications do you have to mock me? Naruto, say less. Haruno Sakura saw that the atmosphere between the two was problematic, so he stood between them and persuaded them with a worried face. In recent days, Naruto and Sasuke have had problems. The two always have a big fight when they disagree. Since Mr. Yagyu is not here, I can only stop the two of them. You didn't apologize to Sakura last time, right? Apologize to Sakura now? Uzumaki Naruto grabbed Sasuke's collar with his backhand. He knew that Sasuke was furious, so he deliberately angered Sasuke and wanted to fight with Sasuke to calm Sasuke's anger. You can beat me first, Uchiha Sasuke said coldly. Naruto, I'm fine. Haruno Sakura said in a panic. Although she was very concerned about the time when Sasuke called her an ugly girl, it didn't matter because it had been so long. Uzumaki Naruto said, apologize, Sakura-chan is so cute, if she continues to be cute, the world will be in danger. Stop talking, it's embarrassing. Haruno Sakura's face darkened, veins popped out on her forehead. Uzumaki Naruto's words made her want to dig into the ground. She raised her hand and was about to punch Naruto. Are you showing off your affection? Your relationship is still so good, but two grown men showing off their affection all day long makes me feel a little sick. Yagyu Tsuki appeared instantly, grabbed Haruno Sakura's wrist, and looked at Naruto and Sasuke with a faint smile. Yagyu-sensei. Haruno Sakura breathed a sigh of relief. Since Yagyu-sensei had appeared, Naruto and Sasuke couldn't have a big fight. Naruto is right. This little devil is ugly but kind-hearted. That's enough. Yagyu Tsuki bumped Haruno Sakura's head. Yeah, that's right, huh? What do you mean? Haruno Sakura nodded, agreeing with what Yagyu said. After reacting, her eyes showed shame and anger. She wanted to turn around and punch Yagyu hard, but she found that her hand was tightly grasped by Yagyu. Ugly but kind. Sick. Who is ugly? Yagyu said speechlessly. Are you kidding me, woman? You get angry when I praise you, and you get angry when I scold you. Are you rabid? Haruno Sakura's face turned red with anger, but she didn't have the strength to beat Yagyu. If she scolded Yagyu now, she would probably be beaten on the ground again. So annoying. You want to fight? Then hurry up, I'll be the referee, absolutely fair and just. Yagyu raised a finger and said, I will reward the winner with a super powerful move, and it is easier to master than the Yang attribute nature transformation. Very exciting, right? Super awesome? Uzumaki Naruto was expecting. 4.2 Yagyu Tsuki corrected with a long tone, it's super awesome. Okay, let's have a fight. Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto was excited, punched his palm hard with his fist, and looked at Uchiha Sasuke with a strong fighting spirit. HMPH, I'll beat you within 3 rounds. Uchiha Sasuke snorted coldly. He was also interested in that super awesome move, as long as it could gain power. Of course, the loser will be punished. Let me think about it. The loser. Yagyu Tsuki pinched his chin and said thoughtfully, just transform into a woman and obey the winner completely in one day. It's an interesting proposal, right? Open black lens bracket 126 close black lens bracket who is stronger and who is weaker. The bet between Yagyu Tsuki and Haruno Sakura. In other words, it stands to reason. Equals, Uzumaki Naruto taunted, Sasuke, don't cry if you lose to me. But Uzumaki Naruto will win, and he will definitely win. Because Sasuke has just activated the 3-Tomo Sharingan, his dynamic vision and pupil power have been improved in all aspects, but he has not yet fully adapted to the improved power. He is very confident because he is Uchiha. Little Sakura, who do you think will win? Yagyu Tsuki sat on the stone, sipped the lollipop in his mouth, and looked at the confrontation between Naruto and Sasuke in the distance. It doesn't matter who wins or loses, whether it's the Nine-Tails kid or the Uchiha kid, no matter who wins, Yagyu Tsuki will benefit. With me here, it's no big deal, Yagyu nodded slightly. As for Tsunade-sensei, let's talk about it after she is discovered. Multiple shadow clone. Uzumaki Naruto crossed his fingers, and more than a dozen shadow clone appeared around him. All shadow clone attacked Uchiha Sasuke in a surrounding manner. Yagyu Tsuki hugged Haruno Sakura's shoulders and said as a matter of course, it's okay, it's easy to get angry if you hold it in for too long, you have to relieve yourself before it gets angry, and the loser will understand his own weakness and become more determined to become stronger. Ong. All the fireballs seemed to have their own consciousness, and they dispersed and attacked all of Naruto's shadow clone. After being swallowed by the flames, the shadow clone turned into white smoke and disappeared. Sasuke's current senses have not kept up with the increased power, which will lead to a serious misunderstanding. 450. What's the reason? Yagyu Tsuki asked. So he will definitely win this bet. As long as he can help Yagyu-sensei wash with clothes on, he will not suffer any loss and can also take advantage of the handsome guy. Fire style function fire. Uchiha Sasuke spewed out several high-temperature flames from his mouth, and the flames turned into fireballs after flying out. Each fireball contained a shuriken. Whether I help Yagyu-sensei wash or Yagyu-sensei helps me wash, I'm the one who suffers, right? 1. Start. Yagyu gave an order. The Uchiha brat does have a better chance of winning, and after the incident with Uchiha Itachi, the Uchiha brat's Sharingan has evolved into a proper main Magatama Sharingan. Just kidding. Yagyu-sensei said. The content of the bet he just mentioned was just a casual remark. Who is Pingshong? Haruno Sakura was about to refute, but after the reaction, his cheeks turned slightly red, and he coughed lightly and said awkwardly, hey, I think Sasuke. Well, that's what you said, but your way of expressing it is too much. Haruno Sakura moved Yagyu Tsuki's hand away and pushed Yagyu Tsuki to the side. And you're too close. Yagyu-sensei is so annoying. He told girls that he was a vent. What a rogue teacher. Although Haruno Sakura likes to be close to Yagyu Tsuki because Yagyu Tsuki is handsome and strong, the problem is that if you get too close, you will be punished by Master Tsunade. Master Tsunade is too jealous. Rebellious kid, are you in puberty? Yagyu Tsuki teased. Uzumaki Naruto crossed his hands and was ready to fight at any time. He shouted, Teacher Yagyu, can we start? Then I count to 3, and you beat me to death. Yagyu picked up Haruno Sakura and jumped back. Hee. Yagyu teacher, look at my power carefully, I will prove who is the strongest genin in front of you. Uchiha Sasuke showed the 3-Tomo Sharingan, raised a mocking arc at the corner of his mouth, and looked down at Uzumaki Naruto indifferently and proudly. Sasuke will definitely defeat Naruto. Because the loser will definitely work harder to practice, and thus work hard to help Yagyu Tsuki improve the level of the sign and reward. I'm tired of your moves. Your numbers are meaningless in front of my Sharingan. Uchiha Sasuke snorted coldly and began to make seals with both hands quickly. Haruno Sakura gently pulled the corner of Yagyu Tsuki's clothes, her fair and delicate face full of worry, and whispered, is everything okay? Change the bet you mentioned, no matter how you look at it, you are taking advantage. Haruno Sakura puffed up her cheeks slightly and rolled her eyes at Yagyu Tsuki. Is it really okay? Haruno Sakura is still worried. Since he failed to perform well in the Chunin exam, now is the opportunity to perform well. He can finally defeat the idiot Uzumaki Naruto and prove his strength to Yagyu teacher. Sasuke is using cheats to upgrade, so it takes some time to adapt to the increased power, but Uzumaki Naruto has become stronger after practicing little by little, so his senses have been adapting to the increased power. Haruno Sakura pinched his chin and said with a serious and thoughtful expression, Sasuke's Sharingan is very powerful, he can see through Naruto's movements, and Naruto will be controlled by illusion when they make eye contact. That's right, do you want to bet? Since you think Sasuke will win, then I bet on Naruto to win, and the loser will give the winner a bath. Yagyu Tsuki suggested. Haruno Sakura lowered her head and blushed. She bit her lips and hesitated for a moment, then whispered, I agree, but I want to help Yagyu-sensei wash with clothes on. 127. They are evenly matched. Has Tsunade made the deal? At this time, the battle situation. The last one, is this all you can do? Uchiha Sasuke sneered. Uzumaki Naruto's shadow clone was meaningless in his eyes, because one fire style could destroy more than a dozen shadow clone. Cracks appeared on the ground, and then Uzumaki Naruto drilled out of the ground, clenched his fist and hit Uchiha Sasuke's face hard. What are you bragging about? The winner hasn't been decided yet.
This guy, when Uchiha Sasuke's face changed slightly. He was obviously guarding against Naruto's shadow clone the whole time, but he didn't even notice that a clone had drilled into the ground.
In an instant, Uchiha Sasuke suddenly jumped back and pulled a safe distance from Uzumaki Naruto, but because the speed of the jump was too fast, he took several steps back and almost lost his balance. Damn it, I actually made such a mistake. Uchiha Sasuke cursed inwardly, because he almost exposed a big flaw to Naruto because of his fast retreat speed. Shua. When Uchiha Sasuke was about to attack, 3 vortexes of Naruto's shadow clone appeared behind him, and the 3 shadow clone rushed towards Sasuke at a very fast speed. Humph. Uchiha Sasuke's 5 fingers moved slightly, and the steel that was difficult to see with the naked eye pulled the kunai on the ground, and all the kunai dispersed Naruto's clones at a very fast speed. After a short fight, the two were almost evenly matched. I said, any tricks are meaningless in front of my eyes. Uchiha Sasuke looked indifferent and arrogant, staring coldly at the vortex Naruto in the distance. Damn it, Naruto, this idiot who is the last one, can actually fight me? What a joke. Uzumaki Naruto tightened his forehead protector and said passionately, arrogant guy, I haven't done it yet. Wow. So awesome. Haruno Sakura stared at the two of them in a daze. The attack and defense between Naruto and Sasuke just now was really amazing. Naruto's shadow clone used the attack timing perfectly, and Sasuke could leave some foreshadowing for each move, making the best use of every attack. Haruno Sakura pursed his lips, a look of peace flashed in his eyes, and a sense of crisis surged in his heart. Maybe. I have been left far behind by Sasuke and Naruto. It's okay, just so, very modestly. Yagyu Tsuki pointed at Haruno Sakura with a lollipop and said with a faint smile, with your current strength, you can beat them both in 1 second. But that's all for now. Because Haruno Sakura has mastered the super strength and is currently the strongest person in Team 7. One punch from each of him is enough to deal with Sasuke and Naruto. With Sasuke and Naruto's current abilities, they can't resist Haruno Sakura's super strength, but that's all for now. Sasuke has a cheat, Naruto has a cheat. Haruno Sakura has nothing. Of course. Haruno Sakura can find another way. Teacher Yagyu, you're exaggerating. How can I have such a strong strength? Haruno Sakura was speechless. She really didn't think she was strong. She was lucky to beat Sasuke and Naruto last time, because Sasuke and Naruto moved very fast, but she didn't move that fast. Even if the power of the strange force is very strong, it is difficult to hit Naruto and Sasuke, but Teacher Yagyu actually said that she can kill Sasuke and Naruto in 1 second. This is a bit outrageous. Yagyu said, I can really kill them in 1 second. Of course, if you were a reckless man like Tsunade, just pretend I didn't say it. What did you say about me? An angry voice sounded behind Yagyu and Haruno Sakura. Haruno Sakura hurriedly stood up and said respectfully, hello, master's wife. Have you finished talking? Yagyu asked. Since a showdown in the office that day, Terumi Mei did not plan to return to the village in the short term, so she stayed here for the time being to discuss things with Tsunade, the alliance between the two villages and Yagyu's matter. Tsunade smiled and said, well, we've agreed. We've decided to get along well, but you, just go have fun. Yagyu Tsuki could tell that Tsunade was joking, so she deliberately asked, really? Not true, just kidding. Tsunade rolled her eyes at Yagyu Tsuki, we didn't mention you, we talked about the alliance. We will assist the ninja in capturing 3 tails, and we also promised Terumi Mei that we will send Samahata to the Mist Ninja, who will sell us ninja tools at a low price and fully assist us in rebuilding the village. Tsunade frowned as she spoke, recalling the scene where Yagyu Tsuki attacked the enemy but destroyed the entire village at the same time. Tsunade held Yagyu Tsuki's face with both hands, forced Yagyu Tsuki to look at her, and educated her seriously, you better be honest and don't make trouble for me again. The enemy failed to destroy the village, but it was destroyed by Yagyu Tsuki. Moreover, it was destroyed twice, it depends on my mood. If I'm in a good mood, it's hard to say. Yagyu Tsuki smiled slightly. When he was in a good mood, he would just want to use some moves to satisfy his pleasure. When he was in a bad mood, he was not interested in using so many moves, and would directly use physical skills to solve the enemy. You take care of it over there. I think they are very angry. Tsunade didn't say much, but looked at Naruto and Sasuke who were fighting in the distance.
He could see that Sasuke was very angry now, and he was fighting Naruto with a sense of anger and resentment.
Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand and said in a casual tone, "It's okay, youth always has bumps and bumps. The Uchiha brat's anger is easy to deal with. He will be obedient after 2 slaps. Moreover, the Uchiha brat will gain new power in the near future, which is enough to calm Sasuke's childish jealousy."
Tsunade grabbed Yagyu Tsuki's collar and whispered in Yagyu Tsuki's ear, "Come to me tonight. I have something to ask you. You'd better tell me everything. How many women do you have?" 1.
After that, Tsunade turned around and left. She deliberately took the time to come here for no big thing, just to take a look at what Yagyu Tsuki was doing. 128. Rasengan Clash, the winner is decided.
How many? It's easy to count for now, but it's hard to say in the future. Yagyu Tsuki touched his chin, thinking about what Tsunade had just said. It was completely unnecessary to reveal how many women he had, because Tsunade had seen all of them.
Currently, there are 4 harems, but in the future, it's hard to say. He expected 7 harems in his mind, too many would be a bit messy. To be honest, women like Tsunade, Terumi Mei, and Yuhi Kurenai didn't care too much about how many women they had, because these guys were very opinionated ninjas, but it was hard to say about Hinata, the little loli. Hinata has a strong possessiveness. It's so troublesome, women are so troublesome, it's simply inexplicable, let's just focus on watching the fight. The more Yagyu Tsuki thought about it, the more troublesome it felt, so he just gave up thinking about so many troublesome things and looked at Naruto and Sasuke who were fighting each other in the distance. What a scumbag's statement. Haruno Sakura's mouth twitched slightly, and she looked at Lu Shengyue with contempt. She had just heard what Master Tsunade said, saying that she wanted Lu Sheng to show how many women he had. But Master Tsunade didn't seem to resist. Could it be that Master could accept that Lu Sheng had multiple women? If so, would she have a chance? After thinking about it for a while, Haruno Sakura's fair face turned red. If Master Tsunade accepted that Lu Sheng had multiple women, would Lu Sheng have to sleep with many women after marriage? This scene. It's embarrassing to think about it, I'm so annoyed. Haruno Sakura slapped her face. What on earth was she thinking about, lecherous kid? Lu Shengyue could probably see what Haruno Sakura was thinking about. Haruno Sakura retorted without confidence, I don't. At this time, the battle situation. The winner can learn the super powerful moves taught by Mr. Yagyu, so I must win. Uzumaki Naruto condensed chakra in his palm, and the light blue chakra compressed and rotated, and then turned into a high-speed rotating Rasengan. Even if you master a new power, it will be a waste. I will completely defeat you and use the power taught by Mr. Yagyu in a more meaningful place. Uchiha Sasuke held his left wrist with his right hand, and a light blue Rasengan condensed in his left palm. He planned to use Rasengan to attack Naruto. Although he could only use Rasengan a limited number of times a day, it was slightly more powerful than Naruto's Rasengan. If he used Rasengan to attack, Sasuke had an absolute chance of winning. Don't die, Sasuke! Uzumaki Naruto suddenly jumped up and blasted Uchiha Sasuke with Rasengan. This is what I want to say. Uchiha Sasuke ran quickly and blasted Uzumaki Naruto with Rasengan. Nine-Tails brat. So stupid, if he continues to delay time, Sasuke will definitely lose, but he actually foolishly ran to fight with strength, which actually helped Sasuke who just became stronger. Yagyu frowned slightly and bit the lollipop in his mouth hard. Naruto will definitely lose in a head-on fight, because after being angered by Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke angrily opened the 3-Tomo Sharingan, which pushed his own chakra to a higher level. At present, his comprehensive strength can already rival ordinary Jōnin. But Sasuke has not fully adapted to his strength after becoming stronger, so if Uzumaki Naruto delays for a while, he will be able to find a flaw and completely defeat Sasuke. What a pity. It doesn't matter who wins or loses, the problem is that Yagyu will lose the bet. Although there is no difference between losing and winning, he is still used to the feeling of winning. Okay, cheat, help Naruto open 9 tails once, Yagyu said. Yagyu teacher. Haruno Sakura blamed. Just kidding. Yagyu Tsuki shrugged. Anyway, congratulations, you won the bet this time. They haven't decided the winner yet. Haruno Sakura said strangely. Naruto and Sasuke haven't decided the winner yet, how can Yagyu teacher determine the situation? Yagyu Tsuki said mysteriously, the loss is already there. Boom boom. The two Rasengan collided with each other, forming a large and fierce gust of wind. There were fine cracks on the ground. The two Rasengan formed an energy ball, which wrapped Sasuke and Naruto in the energy ball. After a while, Uzumaki Naruto's right arm twisted in a strange arc, and then the whole person flew out like a gyroscope, smashed heavily into the stone wall, and was submerged by the boulder after the stone wall collapsed. Uchiha Sasuke was also blown away, but he landed steadily after a round in the air. The gap was obvious, and the winner was decided. Uchiha Sasuke won a crushing victory. Although Uzumaki Naruto is currently very strong among the genin, Uchiha Sasuke is in the state of 3 Tomo Sharingan. If he wants to defeat Sasuke with 3 Magatama from the front, Naruto must use the Demon Fox coat. Uzumaki Naruto crawled out of the stone pestle, covering his right arm twisted into a spiral, staring at Uchiha Sasuke said unwillingly, "Damn it, I lost to you again, you arrogant guy." The haze in Uchiha Sasuke's heart disappeared, and the heavy feeling that made him hard to breathe also disappeared. The corners of his mouth slightly raised an arc, and he sneered and said, "Humph, you are still far from it, the last one." Comfortable. After completely defeating the idiot Naruto, all the recent pressure was gone, because he had proved to Yagyu Tsuki that he was the strongest genin in Team 7. Open black lens bracket 129 close black lens bracket the recent arrangements for Class 7. Teacher Yagyu, since I am the winner, please teach me the technique you mentioned before. Uchiha Sasuke put away the Sharingan. After closing the Sharingan, he felt tired and dragged his tired body to Yagyu Tsukishiro. Strange. Why did he consume so much chakra when he had not used the Sharingan for a long time? Let's settle down for a few days. When you can fully control the current power, then consider a new power. Yagyu Tsukishiro looked at Sasuke indifferently. With the current state of the Uchiha kid, it is impossible to master a new power. If you want to master a new power, you must settle down for a few days to adapt to the state. Let's teach Reikuri in a few days. With the qualifications of the Uchiha kid, Reikuri can be completely mastered in a short period of time. It is a convenient move that can gain more points. Okay. Uchiha Sasuke nodded. This time he was not anxious to become stronger, because he also found that he had many problems now. With the current chaotic state of chakra, he could not learn a new move. Yagyu Tsukishiro glanced at Naruto. Although Naruto was defeated, he still had to practice. He always wanted to beat Sasuke. He could lose to Haruno Sakura or to other genin, but he had to beat Sasuke, because Sasuke was the target he was chasing. Humph. Uchiha Sasuke turned and left. He was in a hurry to go back and master the power of the 3 Magatama, so that he could learn new abilities from Yagyu Tsuki. He originally planned to take Uzumaki Naruto to Mount Myoboku, but after Uzumaki Naruto temporarily left Team 7 would reduce a lot of competitive atmosphere. Next time, I will definitely win. Uzumaki Naruto gritted his teeth. He vowed to practice harder until he could beat Uchiha Sasuke. As for Naruto, Haruno Sakura was carried in a daze. She blinked dryly and said, "Since I won the bet, I don't want Yagyu teacher to keep the appointment, okay? Haruno Sakura is very convenient. She just needs to practice the power of 100 healers. After completely mastering the power of 100 healers, she can practice some other abilities later." Haruno Sakura was speechless. If Tsunade finds out, I'm afraid I'll be severely punished. It's so annoying. Uzumaki Naruto hung his head and covered his bleeding arm. It planned to lend power to Naruto, and Yagyu had already acquiesced, but was rejected by Uzumaki Naruto. In the seal. Naruto. Haruno Sakura looked at the depressed Naruto, moved her mouth but couldn't say a word of comfort, because she knew that sometimes comforting others would make them more depressed. Naruto has the self-healing ability of 9 Tails, so he can ignore the side effects of wind-style Rasen Shuriken, but if the power of 9 Tails is not healed, Naruto's hand will be disabled when using the moves. Yagyu Tsuki stared at Naruto for a long time, then grabbed Naruto's severely injured arm, and a light blue chakra emerged from his palm. In an instant, Naruto's severely injured arm returned to normal. "Please help me become stronger," Uzumaki Naruto said firmly. "Anyway, disband, Sasuke, go find your form." Little Sakura continued to practice the 100 healings, and as for you. Yagyu Tsuki paused, looked at the depressed Uzumaki Naruto, and said lightly, "To be honest, you just performed very poorly, even I would be disappointed." Sasuke. Damn it. Uzumaki Naruto sat on the ground with weak legs, clenched his hands into fists, and a feeling of unwillingness surged in his heart. He lost completely. If I run over and say now, that's Uchiha Sasuke, if you lose, just work harder next time. Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Haruno Sakura. 9 Tails slowly opened his eyes and said in a deep voice, "If you hadn't rejected my power, you could easily defeat the brat named Uchiha Sasuke, not to mention that Yagyu would also acquiesce to you using my power. If I say this, Naruto will probably cry. So it is best to practice natural energy first, master the self-healing ability of natural energy, and then practice the wind attribute nature transformation. This is the best situation. I am a man who keeps his promises. I am willing to accept the loss. Since I lose, I must keep the appointment." Yagyu carried Haruno Sakura and used the teleportation to disappear. "Come to me tomorrow and take you to a place. Forget it, I'll move the important tools over there here. It's more lively to practice with more people, and it can also promote growth better." After saying that, Yagyu Tsuki disappeared out of thin air. Yagyu Tsuki pointed at Uzumaki Naruto's twisted arm and said, "It's good to be determined, but you will die from excessive blood loss. I won the bet, but Yagyu teacher is still so strong? 0. Please give me flowers. 0. I almost forgot, we still have a bet." Yagyu Tsuki appeared in an instant and picked up the defenseless Haruno Sakura. "But, he lost. Teacher Yagyu, I want to beat Sasuke." Uzumaki Naruto stood up, holding his bleeding arm, and looked up at Yagyu Tsuki firmly. Let Sasuke see that Naruto is getting stronger, so that Sasuke can get stronger faster, and so does Naruto, so just move the toad oil to the 7th training ground. If I use your power, what's the point of me practicing hard to defeat Sasuke? Stinky fox. Even without your power, I will work hard to defeat Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto said firmly. Open black lens bracket 130 close black lens bracket practice in the bathroom. The sun rises in the west and sets in the west. Hyuga Clan Dojo. Bathroom. The pale steam covers the entire bathroom, and the air is filled with warm air. Lu Xiangyue looks at himself sitting in the bathtub with his legs crossed, his pale hair scattered randomly, and a white towel on his forehead. Lu Xiangyue stretched and said lazily, the bathroom is better in other people's homes. It's comfortable no matter how you soak. He hasn't been back to his home for a long time. He completely regards his home as a storage room, which contains many expensive and luxurious collections. Although Lu Xiangyue's home is not big, every decoration placed in it is enough to shock many ninjas from the 5 major countries. For example, after defeating Hoshigaki Kisame last time, he soaked the 947 famous swords, the sashimi, in the fish tank like a shark. Tsunade said he would return Samahata to the Kirigakure, but he has already collected the Sagahata privately. Anyway, he and Terumi Mei will be family members in the future, so Kirigakure belongs to Yagyu Tsuki. So it is reasonable to collect the treasure of Kirigakure, right? With power and strength. Of course you will be greedy. By the way, One-Tail Shukaku is currently guarding the door of Yagyu Tsuki's house. He has been completely controlled by Yagyu Tsuki's Tensigen and has become a creature that has been raised like a pet. Yagyu. Teacher Yagyu, this is the Hyuga clan, right? Is it okay? Haruno Sakura stood at the door of the bathroom, covering his whole body with a white bath towel, and looked at Yagyu Tsuki's back carefully. So annoying. I was confused and taken to the bathroom by Mr. Yagyu. I was the winner of the bet, but why did I feel like I was being punished by Mr. Yagyu? It's okay, it's my own land. Yagyu Yu closed his eyes comfortably, feeling the warm water in the pool. The hot springs of the Hyuga clan are quite unique, with the effect of moisturizing the chakra and relaxing the muscles and bones. They should be specially designed to assist the practice of gentle fist. It's obviously the territory of the Hyuga clan. Haruno Sakura secretly complained. She looked at Yagyu Yu's slender back and the angular muscles, and her fair and pretty face turned red. If Master Tsunade finds out, I'm afraid I'll be beaten to death, right? Do you think that I brought you here to take advantage of you? Lu Xiangyue said deliberately with disdain. There's no need to think so much. In my eyes, you are just a hairless kid. Isn't it? Haruno Sakura silently complained. You think too much. Lu Xiangyue looked back, and after a moment of silence, he said, really not. Haruno Sakura was stunned, maintaining the posture of stepping forward. After reacting, a flash of shame and anger flashed in his eyes, and he suddenly burst out with strange power and hit Lu Xiangyue's face fiercely. Don't look at it. Go to hell, rogue teacher. Don't be so excited, anyway. You have to practice here. Lu Xiangyue grabbed Haruno Sakura's wrist and pressed Haruno Sakura to the ground with a backhand grappling. Hiss, it hurts. After being pressed to the ground, Haruno Sakura frowned slightly due to the pain in her wrist, then raised her head with difficulty and looked at Yagyu Tsuki's face in confusion. Practice? Yes, practice. Yagyu Tsuki confirmed. Haruno Sakura glanced at the bathroom. No matter how she looked at it, there was no way to practice here. Then she showed an expression that said, Teacher Yagyu, are you serious? Seriously. Yagyu Tsuki confirmed. Okay, how to practice? Haruno Sakura was puzzled. Grab the water. Yagyu Tsuki said. Grab the water? Haruno Sakura was stunned. See. Yagyu Tsuki let go of Haruno Sakura, tapped the surface of the hot spring with his fingertips, and the light blue chakra was injected into the hot spring. Then he raised his finger and his fingertips stuck to the hot spring in the whole pool. Amazing. Haruno Sakura exclaimed. Right, this is a compulsory course for medical ninjas. Use chakra to stick to flowing liquids. Today's practice is a special service from the teacher. Yagyu Tsuki raised his finger, and as he raised his finger, the water in the entire hot spring floated into the sky. Yagyu Tsuki took back the chakra, and the spring water floated in the sky like a river. After losing the chakra, it fell into the pool. Practice to control chakra, but, if it is practice, why do you have to be in the bathroom? Haruno Sakura pondered for a moment, staring at Yagyu Tsuki in confusion, but he only dared to stare at Yagyu Tsuki's face, because Yagyu Tsuki was not wearing anything now. Because it's fun, I can see the benefits. Yagyu Tsuki smiled slightly, and then soaked in the pool again. There are so many reasons. I just want to see the benefits of female students practicing hard in the bathroom. The so-called work and rest are also like this. Can I go out? Practice in another place. Haruno Sakura grabbed the towel tightly, covering her petite body tightly. Yagyu Yu glanced at Haruno Sakura and said in a deep voice, I am willing to accept the loss. I hate people who break the contract. I obviously won. Why do you act like I lost? Haruno Sakura was speechless. She put her white feet into the pool, got used to the temperature, and then got into the pool. After a few seconds, her little head popped out of the water, her face blushing and looking at Yagyu shyly. Look at me for what? Just practice honestly, Yagyu reminded. Oh, Haruno Sakura responded, what the hell is practice? How can I concentrate on practicing in this scene in this situation? Yagyu Tsuki said in a teaching tone, actually, I chose this place for a different reason. Being distracted when fighting with the enemy can lead to death, so you need to prepare your mind in advance. It is very helpful to practice in a place where you will be distracted. Is that the excuse you just thought of? Haruno Sakura complained, and then he didn't say anything more. With the light blue chakra condensed in his palm, he tried to grab the warm water in the hot spring, but he couldn't succeed after trying several times. Open black lens bracket 131 close black lens bracket sign in to level up and get Ryujin Jaka. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket gain 20 growth points, and the growth value is upgraded. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket advanced to silver. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket gain advanced reward. Zanpakuto, Ryujin Jaka, bankable, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket growth value is reset after advancement. Current growth value, silver 0 points, close black lens bracket. The system sounded in Lu Shungyu's mind with an ethereal voice. Ryujin Jaka? Lu Shungyue retracted his gaze from Haruno Sakura, feeling the infinite new power surging from himself. His hand trembled slightly, and a retro-old sword appeared in his palm out of thin air. The blade had no fancy decorations, and the scabbard was a very simple black scabbard. Lu Shungyue looked at the sword, and from the surface, this sword looked like a relic that could be seen everywhere, and even this kind of sword could be bought at a low price in antique shops. But after he got the Zanpakuto, he could clearly feel an indescribable super strong energy from the sword. Ryujin Jaka is the oldest and strongest Zanpakuto, a sword of fire that can burn O3 with flames, and even reach a high temperature of 105 million degrees after Bankai. After Bankai, everything it touches will be reduced to ashes. It is indeed a considerable power. Lu Shungyue moved his mind, and the retro Zanpakuto was directly emptied and disappeared. Ryujin Jaka is now the power of his soul. In other words, it can be freely released by mind, which is a relatively convenient way of release. But the most important thing is, when fighting with the enemy, shouting Bankai and then bursting out with tyrannical power, Zui Shungyue still likes this feeling. It's okay to be a middle school student, but you can act cool. Teacher Yagyu. Haruno Sakura, who was thinking hard, caught a glimpse of Yagyu Tsuki's little Yagyu Tsuki from the corner of her eye, and saw that there was a slow change, from just drooping to proudly standing up. That. Haruno Sakura's face turned red, and the blush gradually spread to the roots of her ears. Suddenly, the whole person was a little stunned. As a mentally healthy girl, she certainly knew what Yagyu Tsuki's situation meant. Although it was her first time, she understood a lot of things. Haruno Sakura shyly looked away in panic. After hesitating for a moment, she secretly glanced at Yagyu Tsuki again. Haruno Sakura thought secretly, looks so fierce. Like a big scroll. Could it be that the group became like that because they saw me? That is to say, in the eyes of Mr. Yagyu, I am very attractive? But, so embarrassing. What? Yagyu's mind was full of Zanpakuto, and he didn't pay any attention to Haruno Sakura's thoughts. He just wanted to find a place to test Ryujin Jaka's Bankai. Haruno Sakura's face flushed, and he looked away hurriedly. After hesitating for a moment, he said in a subtle voice, where? Is it okay? Are you playing Hinata? Yagyu was speechless, glanced at the place where Haruno Sakura pointed, and saw that Xiao Yu was standing proudly at this time. Hyuga Hinata hugged Yagyu Tsuki tightly, rubbed Yagyu Tsuki's hand with her fair and cute face, and asked softly and shyly, Yagyu brother, did you come to see me specially? Hyuga Hinata swore in her heart that she would prove herself to the respected Yagyu brother in the Chunin selection exam. Just in time to be in the Hyuga clan, I'll find Lil Hinata to solve it, otherwise there will be a surge of emotions in my heart, and I won't be able to test Ryujin Jaka properly. Hyuga Hinata was very happy in her heart, but she still softly retorted, but, I don't have cuteness. To be honest, Yagyu was an excellent adult after all, and the slight embarrassment in his heart soon disappeared. He stood up and pinched his waist proudly, pointed at Xiao Yue with his other hand, and said, how should I put it, you ask it. Hyuga clan, dojo. He, Yagyu Tsuki walked out of the pond. Have you just arrived at the Hyuga clan 433? After a moment of surprise, Hyuga Hinata hurriedly turned her eyes away, with shyness in her eyes, and her fair and cute face became even redder. I guess so. Yagyu Tsuki waved, he was very proud. After seeing Xiao Yu's fierce state, even Yagyu felt a little embarrassed. Hyuga Hinata wore a black gi, her cheeks flushed due to excessive exercise, and her hair was soaked with sweat and stuck to her cheeks. With each strong palm strike, her white and tender feet would move forward a step. Because Xiao Yu was perfect. Yagyu teacher is so annoying. And, although Hinata was still very shy, how could she control the excitement in her heart when the man she liked waved at her? I have to go find that crazy woman Tsunade later. Hey, are you practicing? A lazy and faintly smiling voice sounded, and Hyuga Hinata was so happy that she tripped over her left foot and fell to the ground. Brother Yagyu. Hyuga Hinata hurriedly got up, patted the dust on her clothes, and turned to look at Yagyu Tsuki who was sitting on the window frame. When Hyuga Hinata saw Yagyu Tsuki waving, she ran over and hugged Yagyu Tsuki. But, why am I a little looking forward to it? Hinata is so cute, of course I want to see her every day. Yagyu Tsuki pinched Hyuga Hinata's face. He was not lying, but did not answer the question of special visit, because if Hinata knew what happened in the bathroom. Yagyu brother is very powerful. As Yagyu brother's girlfriend, I must become stronger. After being seen, he didn't hide his embarrassment, but proudly showed off, so annoying. Sorry, Yagyu teacher, my family called me back. Haruno Sakura looked at Yagyu-yu's proud waist-pinching behavior. His head was hot and he was confused, covering his face and stumbling out of the bathroom.
Alas, a man as good as me is too busy. Quote, what's there to panic about, little brat? Yagyu Tsuki looked at Haruno Sakura who was running away. He really didn't care about these things. It was no harm to be seen by a woman. Anyway, as long as he was thick-skinned, it was others who were embarrassed.
She has been deliberately avoiding Yagyu Tsuki recently, because she still remembers what happened last time. She heard that the Chunin exam would be restarted recently. She also saw many powerful genin last time, so she was preparing for the restarted Chunin exam. He really didn't look at Haruno Sakura just now, his mind was all on Ryujin Jaka. The reason why he became like this should be because he had just obtained the energy of Ryujin Jaka, which caused his blood to flow faster. But she really wants to see Yagyu Tsuki, but she is afraid to see Yagyu Tsuki. So Hyuga Hinata has been practicing harder than before recently, because when she is practicing hard, she has no time to think about random things. With Hinata's possessiveness, it would really explode. She really didn't think she was cute, but she was a little inferior in character. 132. Hinata takes the initiative, Bankai, Zankadachi. Hyuga Hinata raised her little face, looked at Yagyu Tsuki eagerly, and asked with an expectant tone, Yagyu ni, daughter, you okay today? Recently, Yagyu ni has been in contact with the Hokage-sama every day. He must be busy dealing with things in the village, right? I heard that the Mist Village has formed an alliance with Yagyu ni, so Yagyu ni has been in contact with Terumi Mei and Tsunade-sama all day recently, right? Yagyu ni saw the expectation in Hinata's eyes, and took back the words that he was about to say that he would have something to do in a while. He touched Hinata's little head and smiled lightly, nothing happened today, so we have a lot of time. Although he had to test Ryujin Jaka and deal with things with Tsunade later, it would be okay to postpone it for a few hours. I haven't really been with Hinata recently, and I haven't even flirted with Sister Honghong, because Terumi Mei and Tsunade, those two crazy women, are doing some weird things all day long.
When will Terumi Mei go back? The Mist Village is about to be in chaos.
As one of the best cage-level strongmen, they are jealous of each other all day long. I am really worried about the future of the ninja world. What's more, Terumi Mei's thoughts change very quickly. She hated me like crazy before, so how come she wants to marry me in the blink of an eye? Alas. So, a woman's change of face is like turning a book, and she turns a book 10 lines at a time. Then brother Yagyu, can. Hyuga Hinata's face turned red, and she poked lightly with 2 fingers. She was shy and couldn't say anything. Why, do you want me to wait for you in the room? Yagyu teased casually, but what he never expected was that Hyuga Hinata actually nodded vigorously. I'm going to take a shower first. I was practicing just now and I was sweating. Hyuga Hinata recalled the scene of that night in her mind. Although those things made her shy, she was looking forward to and liked the feeling of being hugged by Yagyu Tsukishiro. Oh my god, our little Hinata actually took the initiative. Is the world going to be destroyed tomorrow? Yagyu Tsukishiro was slightly surprised. He pinched his chin and looked at Hyuga Hinata. He was indeed a little surprised, because Hinata has always been a very passive character, but today she actually took the initiative to say that she wanted to do those things. Because I haven't seen you for a long time. Hyuga Hinata lowered her little head, and her subtle voice was hard to hear. She just took the initiative to bring up those things just now because she was hot-headed. Just kidding. Yagyu Tsukishiro picked up Hyuga Hinata and teased her in a tone like an old uncle. As an excellent adult, I have the obligation to reward you once. After receiving the reward, you must practice hard. Okay. Hyuga Hinata nodded obediently. You are really obedient. Yagyu sighed. His words just now were obviously teasing. If it were Tsunade and the others, they would definitely refute, but little Hinata took it seriously. I listened to Yagyu brother, Hyuga Hinata whispered. Yagyu felt very comfortable. If only those crazy women with violent minds were as obedient as little Hinata. Alas. What a pity. So lowly is still better. Hyuga Hinata was carried to the bedroom by Yagyu, and she said softly, Yagyu brother. I'm going to take a shower first because I'm sweating. It's okay, it's better this way. Yagyu knew very well that little Hinata could take 2 hours to take a bath every time, and it would be dark after 2 hours. Hyuga Hinata didn't say anything, but grabbed Yagyu Yu's clothes tightly. She was very afraid of what was going to happen, but she was more looking forward to it. Yagyu Yu carried Hinata into the room, and then set up a barrier for the room, and even cage-level strongmen couldn't cross the barrier. The barrier was even soundproof. The fierce battle began. After a long time. After the fierce battle, Hyuga Hinata smiled and fell asleep in the quilt. After the comfortable battle, Yagyu Yu was refreshed and quietly left the Hyuga clan to go to the top of Hokage Rock. Yagyu Yu went to the top of Hokage Rock to test the newly obtained Ryujin Jaka. The purpose was Hokage Rock is the most eye-catching place in the village. He will use his new strength to perform 10 times of pretense here. The so-called strength is to let others see it, and others will be amazed after seeing it, so that they can form comfortable pretense. Playing dumb to eat the tiger, that's what fools do. There is no need to hide the strength deliberately, because Yagyu Yu is confident that he is invincible, and it is indeed the case. Looking at the current ninja world, no one can defeat Tenseigan, even Ryujin Jaka. The bright moon is in the sky, and the stars are twinkling. Hokage Rock. Yagyu Yu is wearing a loose black yukata, with a retro-style katana hanging around his waist. He pushes the handle of the katana with his thumb and the blade slowly unsheathes. Bankai. Zanhuo Tachi. Yagyu Yu suddenly pulled out the katana, and his whole body exuded dark red energy fluctuations. The blade ignited a scarlet flame, and the raging fire, Liao Liao Jiao, rose from the ground and evaporated into the sky, and then the overwhelming fire was all integrated into the katana. Ong. The whole area fell into silence. Although there was no flame at all, the temperature here reached a point where it was difficult for a living creature to set foot. The moisture in the whole huge village was evaporating at a very fast speed. The Zanpakuto in Lu Shungyu's hand turned into a rusty sword. To the naked eye, this rusty sword looked like it would turn into powder with a slight touch. This is Ryujin Jaka's Bankai, Zanhuo Tachi. All things in the world are reduced to ashes.
Ryujin Jaka, it's really impressive. Lu Shungyu gently waved the Zanpakuto, and the strong high-temperature airflow instantly cut through the sea of clouds in the distance. Although the sword turned rusty after the Bankai, the temperature reached 15 million degrees. 133, Zanri Prison Uniform, destroying Terumi Mei's lava style.
The extremely high temperature of Ryujin Jaka shocked everyone in the village. Everyone began to look for a place where the temperature was radiating. Finally, the Anbu and Jōnin in the village locked their sights on the top of the Hokage Rock, looking at Yagyu Tsuki holding a rusty knife. This terrible high temperature that steamed the entire village territory was the temperature radiated by Yagyu Tsuki's rusty Madara knife. Shua. Several figures flashed by, and the Anbu and Jōnin landed on the Hokage Rock. After they found that it was Yagyu Tsuki who caused the temperature, everyone present secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time, they had a bad premonition in their hearts. Everyone just thought that there was an enemy invasion, but they were relieved when they found that it was Yagyu Tsuki who was causing trouble, but they began to worry that Yagyu Tsuki would cause trouble. Because every time Yagyu Tsuki caused trouble, he was far more terrible than the enemy, because every time Yagyu Tsuki tested his ability before, he would destroy the village beyond recognition. But no one can blame Yagyu Tsuki, because anyone who dares to blame Yagyu Tsuki will be caught by Yagyu Tsuki and rubbed repeatedly on the ground. What are you doing, damn white-haired? Tsunade landed on the edge of the Hokage Rock, feeling the extremely high temperature of 040 here, frowning slightly and looking at Yagyu Tsuki holding the rusty old sword Madara. The temperature here is so scary. If there is no chakra to protect, the water in the body will be evaporated in a short time. Is this the fire style of the damn white-haired? What a strange ability. You'll know when you see it. It's testing the ability. Yagyu Tsuki shrugged. I've never seen a fire style before. Is it a bloodline limit? Terumi Mei landed next to Tsunade. After feeling the abnormally high temperature here, a look of shock flashed in her eyes. Looking at the rusty knife in Yagyu Tsuki's hand, her charming and cold face revealed a trace of worry. You are holding a ninja tool? What a strange ninja tool. It looks like a rusty Madara, a rusty knife that will break if touched lightly, but it can emit such an outrageous temperature. Even if you are a long distance away from Yagyu Tsuki, you can clearly feel, ADCC, that it is an outrageous high temperature. Yagyu Tsuki looked at Terumi Mei strangely and said in a joking tone, you are still here. The dignified Kage eats and drinks in other villages all day long. If you stay for 2 more days, you will be charged. The matter is not yet done. There is nothing wrong in the Mist Village at the moment. Terumi Mei said, you answer me first, is it a bloodline limit? Or a ninja tool? But no matter how you look at it, the sword looks like a substance formed by strange energy. Quite smart, just treat it as a bloodline limit. Yagyu Tsuki shook the sword and said, if you insist, it's the power of the soul. Anyway, it's still hard for you to understand. Yagyu Tsuki said, you used that lava style to attack me. Terumi Mei raised her eyebrows slightly and said with a little amusement, is it okay? Be careful or I will melt you. Her lava style is very strong, it can even melt Susanoo, it's okay, don't worry, attack boldly, I want to test my ability. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand, his faint smile gave people a sense of confidence. He wanted to test the defensibility of Ryujin Jaka, which is a skill after Bankai. Zankatachi West, Zanri Prison Clothes. Zanri Prison Clothes compresses energy to form a 15 million degree flame, and the flame will form clothes to protect the whole body, just like wrapped in the scorching sun. Is it okay? Terumi Mei hesitated and looked at Tsunade next to her. After all, she has already regarded Yagyu Tsuki as her designated husband. Using the strongest attack at present to attack her husband is no different from domestic violence, no matter how you look at it. It's okay, do as he says. Tsunade nodded slightly. She wanted to see what Yagyu Tsuki was going to do. Was he going to test the ability of the rusty knife? Be careful yourself. Don't blame me if you are melted by me. Terumi Mei burst out a huge chakra, clasped her white hands together, and spit out a large piece of dark red lava from her mouth. The lava rolled out like a huge wave, and the extremely terrible high temperature was no different from real lava. Yagyu Yu did not move, and looked at the lava approaching indifferently, and said teasingly, "It's hard to say, you can melt me with your other mouth." Terumi Mei's charming face blushed slightly, and she whispered, "Pervert." She could understand what Yagyu Yu was saying. The mouth is used for lava style, but women have many mouths. What is Yagyu going to do? The whole audience was in full view, and everyone was wondering what Yagyu Yu was going to do, only to see the terrible lava like a huge wave flying down to the ruler distance of Yagyu Yu. Zankatachi Shi, Zanri Prison Clothes. Yagyu Yu burst out a strong airflow. This colorless airflow is a high-temperature flame. Ong. The dark red high-temperature lava disappeared out of thin air as if it was evaporated. The strongest attack used by Terumi Mei could not touch Yagyu Yu at all. Everyone looked at it in shock. At this time, the space around Yagyu Yu twisted into a spiral, and it seemed that the whole body was covered with a layer of colorless fire that could not be seen by the human eye. Hiss, the whole audience took a breath of cold air, and everyone stared at Yagyu Yu in a daze. What is that colorless steam like flame? Is it fire style? If it is fire style, it is at least S level. But looking at the entire ninja world, there has never been an S level fire style. The highest level of fire style is only A level, and it is a fire style combined with nature transformation. 134. The harem is stable, the four of them together? What did you just? What was that? As Terumi Mei, who had just attacked Yagyu Tsuki, could feel more clearly than others the heat flow that had just covered Yagyu Tsuki's body. It was more like an invisible and colorless, but extremely hot flame. But the question was, what kind of flame, what kind of ability? It could actually evaporate lava by relying on temperature? You have to know that the lava he used was real lava, no different from the lava formed in a natural volcano. The temperature of the lava in the volcano was extremely high, reaching 1,500 degrees, and the lava style he used was strengthened by chakra, which enabled the fixed heat of melting to reach 100,000 degrees. 100,000 degrees is terrible, and it can even melt Jōnin into ashes in an instant. But even the lava with a temperature of 100,000 degrees was evaporated by the invisible and colorless high-temperature airflow the moment it touched Yagyu Tsuki. Terumi Mei looked at Yagyu Tsuki seriously with a solemn look in her eyes. That is to say, the strange ability that the scoundrel just used had a temperature far exceeding the 100,000 degrees of his own lava style. A temperature exceeding 100,000 degrees is totally beyond concept. How should I put it? Energy is converted into flames, and flames will form a defense. Now I am surrounded by airflow. In other words, before the flames appear, your moves are evaporated by the temperature. Yagyu Tsuki scratched his cheek in distress and said with regret, "Alas, there is no way to test your ability properly. It would be better if you could be equal to me. The Zanri Prison Clothes has not been fully activated. It's just that Yagyu Tsuki's own temperature has increased, and when the airflow is about to turn into flames, Terumi Mei's lava style is evaporated by the airflow. Although it's not enough, there is no need to continue using Bankai's ability. If there is a slight mistake, Terumi Mei and Tsunade will be seriously injured. No need. Just stop there. Knowing that lava style can be evaporated by airflow, you can probably guess the degree of Bankai. Just wait until you meet a cage-level enemy in the future and continue testing. I'm talking about pain. Pain will definitely come to the door." Terumi Mei's eyes twitched slightly, and she said with a fake smile, "If you can change the way you talk, you can still be considered a human being. What does the scoundrel mean is to say that I am weak again?" It was the first time that someone told her that she was weak to her face. You should know that she was the hero who ended the Blood Mist Village, and she was also the ninja who changed the entire Mist Village by herself, and she was also the strongest ninja in the entire Mist Village. And, with her strength and double blood limit, she is one of the top strong people in the whole ninja world, but such a strong ninja was actually told to be weak by Yagyu in person. But the problem is, if someone else said this, it would be arrogant, but with Yagyu Yu's strength, it was natural to be arrogant, which caused Terumi Mei to have nothing to refute for a short time. There is no way, Yagyu Yu's strength is there. Yagyu Yu comforted her in an educational tone. "It's okay, don't be discouraged, everyone will always have a place to use their skills. Since you are suppressed by me in terms of strength, think from another angle and try to suppress me in other ways." What? Terumi Mei was puzzled. Just when she was about to ask Yagyu Tsuki what method he used, She saw the teasing look in Yagyu Tsuki's eyes, and then she suddenly realized what Yagyu Tsuki meant. A flash of shame and anger flashed in her eyes, and she turned her head away and said coldly, "Pervert." She knew what Yagyu Tsuki meant, which was to say the suppression of matters between men and women. Strength cannot be suppressed, but that aspect cannot be suppressed even more, because Yagyu Tsuki is a beast. Endless energy. Very fierce. Tsunade stared at the rusty katana, hesitated for a moment and said, "Can I touch it?" She felt that the katana Yagyu Tsuki was holding was very strange. It was obviously rusty, but it contained incredible energy, which far exceeded the energy of the tailed beast chakra. "Don't, you will be burned." Yagyu Tsuki releases Bankai, and Zanpakuto disappears. If Tsunade touches the Zanpakuto, the hand that touches it will disappear instantly. As Yagyu Tsuki puts away Zanpakuto, the temperature of the whole village gradually drops, and the villagers can breathe freely. Just now, when Yagyu Tsuki used Bankai, the whole village could not breathe freely because the temperature evaporated the air. Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Anbu and Jōnin present, waved his hand with a disgusted expression and said, "Disperse, do what you should do. It's time for adults later, don't get in the way here." Yes. Everyone left one after another. Yagyu Tsuki didn't see Yuhi Kurenai, and asked in confusion, "Where is Sister Kurenai?"
Tsunade said, "She's getting ready." "What preparations?" Yagyu Tsuki was curious.
"You can go find her later, and come find me after you're done. Terumi Mei and I will be waiting for you at the tavern." Tsunade glared at Yagyu Tsuki with disdain, then turned around and prepared to leave. Huh, even Yagyu Tsuki was slightly startled. "Tsunade asked me to find Sister Honghong, and then go to the tavern to find Tsunade after I'm done? Does that mean the harem has begun to stabilize?" Yagyu Tsuki asked, "Are all things settled?" "Solved. I helped you settle it, and persuaded them for a long time. If they continue to be so messed up, you won't be able to lead the class properly, right?" Tsunade grabbed Yagyu Tsuki's collar, and said in a cold voice, "Just this once, don't be too outrageous in the future." Recently, Tsunade talked with Terumi Mei and Yuhi Kurenai for a long time. Under Tsunade's hard and firm persuasion, Terumi Mei and Yuhi Kurenai finally agreed to be Yagyu Tsuki's women at the same time.
Tsunade clearly understood that Yagyu Tsuki had no intention of choosing only one person, since Yagyu Tsuki was determined to have them all and had no intention of dealing with the chaotic situation.
What could be done? Tsunade could only come forward to clean up the mess. 0. Please give flowers. Rather than making the relationship so complicated and chaotic, it would be better to just come clean and live in harmony, right? Yagyu Tsuki touched Tsunade's head and said, "Thank you for your hard work. Let's talk about the name of the child later." Tsunade is indeed a good woman. While she was thinking about how to solve the harem problem, Tsunade had actually persuaded Terumi Mei and Honghongjia. "You have a conscience." Tsunade felt a warm current in her heart and gently stroked her slightly bulging belly. Terumi Mei pouted and said, "I'm watching, is it really okay for you to be so affectionate?" Ahem. Tsunade's cheeks were slightly red, and she pushed away Lu Shungyue unhappily, blaming, "Don't touch my head, you are disrespectful." After saying that, she turned around and was about to leave. Lu Shungyue said, "Wait, don't think I'm too simple. Although Sister Honghong is making preparations, am I that kind of person?" Terumi Mei frowned and asked, "What else are you dissatisfied with?"
Tsunade was puzzled. Did the dead white-haired guy change his personality?
Yagyu Tsuki looked serious and said in a deep voice, "4 people together." Terumi Mei and Tsunade were stunned. The two women looked at Yagyu Tsuki silently. They just thought that Yagyu Tsuki had changed his personality and planned to develop slowly with Yuhi Kurenai and then 0 to consider those things. But they never expected that they thought too easily. Yagyu Tsuki was really not such a simple man. He could actually say that 4 people would be together without blushing or beating his heart. Tsunade said unhappily, "I'm pregnant." "That's right, how can a pregnant woman do those things?" Yagyu Tsuki touched his chin, thought for a moment, and smiled slightly. "Then there are 3 of us, and you watch the 10 families on the side to be neat and tidy." "You're looking for death." Tsunade's delicate face was filled with shame and anger, and she raised her leg and kicked Yagyu Tsuki's head fiercely. Just kidding, drink less wine, if it's too late. Then see you tomorrow." Yagyu Yu jumped back to avoid Tsunade's kick, and then used the teleportation to disappear directly out of thin air. Tisk. Damn white hair. Tsunade smacked her lips. She would have no problem drinking because she could use chakra to expel alcohol. Oh, so tired. Terumi Mei sighed. The original purpose of her coming here was to propose marriage to Yagyu Yu, and then discuss the alliance with Hokage. But things have developed to this point. She has made an agreement with another woman without knowing why, and said that they would become Yagyu Yu's women together. What the hell? But after solving the problem, her mood became clear, and she was not as upset as before. Tsunade hooked Terumi Mei's shoulders and laughed heartily. "Let's go, drink." "Is the Hokage's work okay?" Terumi Mei was puzzled. Tsunade said casually, "It's okay, just leave it to Shizune." 135. Yuhi Kurenai. Just leave everything to me. An apartment in the village. The apartment is simply decorated with a few pieces of furniture, and looks no different from a hotel. This is Yuhi Kurenai's home. Because she is often on missions outside, her home is not so fancy, and only has some necessities. Although Master Tsunade said that today is my job, but how should I do it well? Yuhi Kurenai dressed as usual, kneeling on the ground in a dignified and elegant manner, with her slightly curly black hair casually scattered behind her, thinking about what to do in the future. She talked to Tsunade and Terumi Mei, saying that each of them would take turns for a week in the future, which means that within a week, they could do anything with Yagyu Tsuki. Then Tsunade suggested that Yuhi, 287, Kurenai take turns first. But the question is, how to do it? It feels more difficult than carrying out a mission. Yuhi Kurenai sighed. Although she had never been in a relationship since she was a child and had no knowledge of those things, she had always liked Yagyu Tsuki and wanted to go further with Yagyu Tsuki and get more from her.
Yuhi Kurenai knew that if she continued like this, she would be doomed, because Tsunade and Terumi Mei were already far ahead of her, and even Tsunade had become a pregnant woman.
Although Yuhi Kurenai had been waiting for Yagyu Tsuki to take the initiative, she knew that in Yagyu Tsuki's eyes, she was a sister worthy of respect. But because of this, Yagyu Tsuki was just teasing at most, and there was no possibility of forcing her to do it. So, Yuhi Kurenai began to get anxious. What should I do? Should I ask to sleep when I meet? Or should I push it to you when I meet? Yuhi Kurenai frowned. She had read a book in a bookstore yesterday. The book said that after meeting a man you like, don't hesitate to go up and kiss him, and the man will definitely take the initiative. But the problem is, no matter what I do, it's so embarrassing.
Hey, Sister Hong Hong. A faint chuckle sounded, and Jishengyu appeared in front of Shiri Hong in an instant.
Shiri Hong, who was thinking about something, was startled by the sudden appearance of Lu Shengyue, and her buttocks were not stable and fell backwards, but she reacted quickly and supported the ground with her hands. Knock on the door properly, you scared me to death. Shiri Hong glared at Lu Shengyue in reproach. Lu Shengyue smiled faintly. Sorry, I don't have the habit of knocking on the door when I go home. You just know how to be slick. Shiri Hong stood up, moved her slender legs, stepped on the ground with her jade feet, sat on the soft black sofa, and said, sit down first. Lu Shengyue scratched her cheek and said in surprise, so soon? That's it. Shiri Hong pointed at the sofa, deliberately frowned, and said word by word, what are you thinking about? I asked you to sit down first. Sister Hong Hong, be careful of wrinkles if you frown. Yagyu Yu sat next to Yuhi Kurenai and teased. He could see that Yuhi Kurenai was very shy now, because her fair face was red. She deliberately kept a straight face to hide her shyness. Peeved. Yuhi Kurenai couldn't help laughing. She felt very strange. She felt very happy when she was with Yagyu Yu. Even if they didn't talk about anything or do anything, she would still feel very happy. You will have wrinkles in the future. Yuhi Kurenai coughed lightly and said with embarrassment, did you hear what Tsunade said? Wrinkles? Yagyu Yu asked knowingly. Birth, aging, illness and death are human nature. That's why I long for endless life. When can the broken system make me immortal? After I become immortal, I will give my harem some toys to prolong their life. Otherwise, it would be too boring for me to be immortal. It would be so cool to be shameless with my harem every day after I become immortal. Don't be so talkative. Yuhi Hong lightly hit the back of Lu Shengyu's hand, then shyly did not dare to look at Lu Shengyu's face, playing with her slightly curly hair with her fingers, and said, you know what I'm talking about, Zero. How should I put it? Lu Shengyue looked at Yuhi Hong's awkward state, raised a finger and suggested, anyway. Drink some wine first, you will feel much better if you relax a little bit. To be honest, he is also a little embarrassed now, because he has known Yuhi Hong for too long. Even when his physical body was still very young after crossing, he lived with Yuhi Hong every day. Yuhi Hong also took good care of him. He is a man who knows how to repay kindness and is grateful, so Yuhi Hong is a very special person in his eyes, saying that she is a big sister, more like Bai Yuguang. Then let's drink and relax, and chat more. Yuhi Hong got up and went to look for wine. She remembered that she had bought a lot of wine before and would drink with Lu Sheng every night. The two began to drink and chat, and not long after. Burp, Shiri Hong's face was red, and she lowered her head with messy black hair covering her face, so Lu Shengyue couldn't see her current expression clearly. Sister Hong Hong? Lu Shengyue dragged her face with her hands and looked at the drunk Shiri Hong speechlessly. Although Sister Hong Hong's alcohol tolerance was not that good, it was not that bad, right? 5.1? It was only 3 cups. Shiri Hong was drunk after only 3 cups. You. Burp. Don't move. Shiri Hong grabbed Lu Shengyu's clothes, tore Lu Shengyu's clothes with a sudden force, and said vaguely while burping, just give it. Burp. To me. Lu Shengyu's mouth twitched slightly. Although she wanted to drink to relax, Sister Hong Hong was too relaxed, wasn't she? Lu Shengyue said speechlessly, let's do it another day. I'm afraid you'll vomit on me. Stop. Stop pretending. You're obviously very interested. Shiri Hong poked Xiao with her white jade feet, staggering and drunken, almost unable to stand. She deliberately took out the high concentration alcohol, with the purpose of making the bear bolder.